What is up? Welcome back to Memes and Markets. Keith, how are you, man?
Today's the best day of my life, Ben. How you doing?
Today's freaking awesome. We got how are you now in the chat. We best community online. I totally unbiasedly agree. Brand1, what's up? How you living? Thomas, happy to have you here with us. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Good to see all of y'all. Ain, how are you? I wish y'all the best, and I wish you the best. Keith, what are we talking today? I'll keep saying what up to everyone in the chat.
Today, we are talking about the tokenization of everything. Okay. We're going to talk about tokenization of securities that the DTCC has made it very clear that they are moving forward on this year. We're talking about an organization that processes $3.7 quadrillion every single year, moving on chain.
Obscene number.
It's moving. It's coming on chain, Ben.
I know we've been saying this for a long time, but like years at this point, but it seems like we're getting close to that point.
It's actually happening. I will admit that sometimes when these large organizations give you dates, they do push them back.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see how that ends up going down. But they've targeted July 13th as the beginning of the tokenization of everything.
Okay, so where should we start on all this? Because this is very laden with buzzwords.
Yes, there's a lot of vernacular that we're going to have to break down today. And I guess the word tokenization is kind of a fun thing to talk about on its own, because it's like,
totally,
what's the point of tokenizing stock? Everything's digital already anyways, you know, like what difference does it make? And well, it makes a little bit of a difference. So ever since, you know, this whole blockchain thing and crypto thing came about, we had the opportunity to look at this concept of tokenization in a digital financial space. But if we go back even further in history, right? Think about like what money has been as it has evolved. You know, there was a time where people use checkbooks, for instance, but also where
it's wild to think about.
It's crazy.
How that wasn't that long ago at all, where you just write a check and like leave it at the store.
Totally, it's in our lifetime. But even before that, you had gold, right? Gold being used as money, and then you had gold being represented with paper money. Okay, so you had the central bank in the United States, for instance. They said, look, we're going to print these dollars, and these dollars are going to be representative of the gold that we have within our vaults. Okay, and you can have these dollars represent and claim on that gold. And so in a sense, okay, that dollar, that piece of paper, is actually a token. Okay, it is something that represents a claim on that gold. And so that's like the concept of token in a monetary sense. But you also hear this word tokenization thrown around in all these other ways these days that can make things a little bit confusing. So in the world of technology or in the world of software development, you technically have tokens that mirror that same concept, but the idea is more of a token being used for authentication, right? For instance, if you have like a what do you call them? Third-party authenticator app on your phone, right? Like the number that gets generated in a sense is like a token. It's a token of your identity. It's a token of your access to this thing. And then you got like Chuck E. Cheese. You got a Chuck E. Cheese token. Do y'all have that in Canada?
Yeah, I think we have Chuck E. Cheese. At least we used to. Isn't Chucky dead?
Did Chucky die?
I think he's out of business now. I'm looking it up. Continue.
maybe they had to get out of Canada.
Yeah, he still exists. No. Oh, I'm so wrong. So AI overview from Google says, yes, Chuck E. Cheese still exists and is thriving with over 460 locations across the US and Canada. Okay, so I was so wrong.
Interesting that it's US and Canada too.
Yeah, we definitely have them.
Fascinating. In 60s, like they're thriving. It's like, okay, I mean, it's been around for a while. If they wanted to expand, they probably could have, but I feel like 60s.
You know what's funny is that a lot of that market has really like gone to the adults. And I guess they probably got developed in Chuck E. Cheese and like, I still want to go here, but it'd be weird if I go there. So then the emergence of Dave and Buster's and all that stuff became a massive thing.
Facts, bro. 100%. I haven't been to Dave and Buster's in forever, but definitely like the cool place to go. You know, get your drink on, watch some sports with the bros.
Freaking love sports, dude. But I cut you off. What were you saying?
But anyways, so, you know, a token, it's just something that represents something else in another place, essentially. And with blockchain technology, we've now gotten to the full evolution to where, yes, from a technological perspective, you have a token that represents access to this network or what you hold on the network, but also financial value or some sort of a financial asset to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
And so this tokenization of securities, buzzword, stocks and bonds for the most part. Okay, those are the two major types of securities that exist. There are others. You could think of things like options contracts. They're technically like derivatives of securities, but still considered securities as well, I believe. And then all the different types of synthetic debt instruments that can constitute securities. You have different types of funds that are securities. And so this tokenization of securities puts the traditional financial system, all of the world of equity and debt, especially publicly traded equity and debt, and we're now representing the ownership of these things on the blockchain. So there's an evolution that is taking place over like, how do we keep record of who owns what and like who can do what with what as well. That's definitely a lot deeper than what I can speak to. But at the end of the day, you know, imagine you had pieces of paper, right? Stock certificates, legitimate stock certificates that would have someone's name on them. Okay, if you bought a stock, you'd have like the title to a car. You'd have the title to the stock. And so you move forward and eventually this stuff gets digitized. It gets put into a database. And you start to have these different intermediaries, such as custodians that hold the stock on behalf of even the broker who's allowing the buyer to buy it. So you've got these different parties in between. You've got me, the buyer. Where am I buying from? Technically, I'm buying on a broker. The broker routes my order to an exchange. The exchange and the broker work together to update the record of who owns what with the custodian who actually holds the actual stock, okay, in their database. And so the custodian piece is essentially what the DTCC actually is. They're like the ones who update the records.
And what does the DTCC stand for?
So the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation in the United States is the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, where they update the records of all of these publicly traded stocks and bonds. Like we mentioned earlier, responsible for processing $3.7 quadrillion worth of these securities transactions on a yearly basis. And so tokenization is taking the record and putting that record on a blockchain so that it can move a lot more smoothly. It can move instantly. It can move for negligible fees, and it can move 24/7 because blockchains are not restrained to trading hours to any degree. So these are some of the major benefits of the reasons why you tokenize a stock or a security in general. It also technically, because blockchains are mm, can be permissionless, technically, we'll get to a point to where anybody can tap into and use and buy and sell securities on a global basis. Now we're a little bit of a ways away from that.
And what would allow us to get there?
Identity,
So like decentralized identity?
some level of decentralized identity.
Charles Hoskinson talks about that all the time, where like you should be in the ownership of your own identity, which I completely agree with.
Man,
These honestly, like we consider even like in free countries, we're so not free.
mm,
There's so many rules to dictate where I can and can't go, and I need to get this like bullshit paperwork. And if I lose it, I got to call some other idiot who doesn't give a shit about me to try to find it again. Like it's a nightmare.
for sure.
And
For
even like
sure.
birth certificates, kind of weird thing.
It's a wild concept. I mean, there's a lot of literature in the United States, especially around how your social security number is really like a barcode of
Yeah,
the debt that you owe to the the
that's
state.
yeah. It's also insane how much you can get away with if you just have some numbers. Like how you can identity theft's a massive
Oh
problem,
yeah.
and that'll become even increasingly more prevalent with with AI for one, and two also like the intermingling of like here in Canada at least, like there's so much more crime that's coming into our country too, where it's inevitable where that will become a focus. Like right now, there's a lot of crime that's going on with like people stealing cars and bikes, but it's a matter of time until that becomes digital identity, cyber.
Mm,
I'm certain of it. Because I
mm,
was thinking through even like where a lot of these people are hanging out, the people that are committing crimes, and I'm like, they're probably playing the long game, like planting the seeds for to pull off something like this. And if you know like big cities, at least in Toronto, if you think for 2 seconds, you're like, oh yeah, they could totally be doing that. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to follow. And that's also why like some people believe that a lot of this stuff is like on purpose to then force us to push in these other things, right? Like digital ID, right? Because if that's going to stop the crime, then yeah, right here, we're just cattle, baby. Let's go. Yeah, that's basically what I was trying to get to, Thomas. Is that? So yeah, we're gonna see a lot of change really quickly, I think.
yeah. That's something that's been interesting about this whole blockchain revolution in general is because it definitely solves a lot of problems and it definitely enables like good things,
Hmm.
um, things that would be preferential,
Hmm.
but we're not seeing the adoption because the pain of staying the same has not gotten great enough.
Yes, but that can change really quickly. I also think that people can learn a lot faster than people realize. But like you said, the pain hasn't been there.
Yeah,
Right? Like
people are chilling. Well,
we felt the pain because we were ambitious young people who wanted to build a big life for ourselves, and we saw that the way that everybody else did it before us was not an option for us.
100%.
Right? So all that it takes is like what is their specific flavor of pain that will make them become educated really quickly. And obviously we'll try to play a role in doing that to bring on the people. Like people, I think it was Brand said we should talk more about decentralized identity. I think Charles is probably the guy to have that conversation.
Mm, yes, yes, most certainly. Um, yeah, because I mean, you know, I hate to look at it like this, but like 2020,
Mhm.
however it all came about, that led to people doing whatever they were told. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do wonder if they could pull that again though, or anything like that.
We're
We
about
talked
to
about this.
see
Yeah, you think
with this
so?
antivirus.
No, that's horseshit. But I don't know. I don't think they'd be able to pull that. But maybe I don't know. In Canada, they could probably get away with it. We're pretty bought in. But in America, nice mug.
Thanks, man.
Y'all got guns in America.
Yeah, bro. I mean, Florida wasn't going, Florida was never going.
Yeah, dude, in here they're like collecting all of our guns and stuff. There's like a buyback program.
That's wild. That's
Yeah.
like some legit Orwell stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. And Alberta is one of our provinces here. That's kind of like our Texas. They're talking about trying to leave too. But there's so
Let's
many
go.
games of like psychological warfare going on, right? And it's really funny because like the people that are against it, they're like pulling a lot of the same moves of their biggest enemies. It's really funny. Like, it's so funny. All the things that they condemn in their biggest enemies, like let's say Trump and stuff like that, like they're pulling a lot of the exact same moves. It's like the hypocrisy is just like insane, right? Only when convenient does something not matter. Yeah, you've got guns, Thomas, but not many, man.
Yeah, that's interesting about y'all, man, because it's like, y'all are, I'm sure you guys, the thing about you guys with your guns is you guys use them like appropriately, I feel like you hunt. You know
You
what I
guys
mean?
do need far more restrictions in terms of like who can get a gun
Yeah.
and the type of guns that you can get. I think that shit's crazy. I remember being like a 12-year-old trying to go into Dick's Sporting Goods to get some football equipment and just seeing these massive guns all over the place. I was like, yo, what? Where am I?
Yeah, that's funny, man, because like you really don't think about that stuff when you grow up here, but
You're
at the end of the
desensitized.
day,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. Like you go into a Walmart and there's guns. Like
And there
what?
should totally be psychological evaluations. And I think they have some of this in some places, but
Right.
definitely needs to be a lot more rigorous, in my opinion. I'm also pretty ignorant, so I should probably not talk. But yeah,
Nah, you're right.
it certainly seems that way. And here it's very, very strict, which it probably should be. Like my buddy, so I have a few buddies with gun licenses. And then for certain types of guns, if you want to go anywhere with that gun, you basically have to report where you're going and the path that you're taking too.
Interesting.
Yeah, and if you get,
That's too far.
pardon?
See, that's too far.
Yeah, probably.
Like,
I don't
bro, I
know.
still need to have freedom of movement, my guy. Like, look, I'll take my test
Uh,
and then we're good.
the
Tests are so underutilized, even in the financial world, bro. Like, just let people take a test and let them, if they want to, financially nuke themselves, let them do it, but make sure that they take the test first. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, it's a very fascinating thing because I don't think many people who talk about this and who are like super anti-gun even really look into why they created that like rule in the first place, like the right to bear arms. I really don't think many people really thought through like why did they care about that?
For sure.
Because if you're comfortable and you're well fed, a lot of people just think for a long time they just thought the world was chill. Right? If you're in a first world country, you're like, oh, life's good. Like it could never get bad. But we're starting to see that.
100%.
Such as nature. So now we will tokenize
And tax God-given gifts. Well, so that's an interesting conversation there because I've met a few people that are working on things like that. Um, I mean, worked on a project tokenizing carbon credits, for instance, of some land in the Amazon.
What's a carbon credit?
So, from what I understand, a carbon credit is really just it's like a tax credit kind of thing that you get for conserving the amount of carbon that you emit into the atmosphere as a company.
How do you
Imagine.
test that?
That was something that I did not learn about.
Okay.
Um,
Is it like a trust me, bro?
it's like a real estate appraisal kind of thing.
So they're spitballing.
You've you've got some environmental specialists.
Oh God, love those.
And they go out and they, do an appraisal on your land and like the stuff that you're doing and whatnot. Or an individual, says Jay Heron. Yep, fair enough. And so yeah, I definitely can't really talk on carbon credits, but this idea of tokenizing even for instance land that is, protected land and things of that nature. Um One of the projects that I ran into was a guy who was basically trying to tokenize like some form of recycling stuff. And it was like for every token that you buy, this thing was kind of a Ponzi scheme, but the concept was interesting where it's like you buy this token and that the proceeds from that go towards like someone recycling something. And then I don't remember the mechanics of it. I was kind of tapped out. I was like, this is very much so a Ponzi scheme. But the concept though of like, can you use tokenization to incentivize behavior that is technically good for the world?
Some communist stuff.
I mean, that's probably what that ends up looking like when it comes to this tokenization of everything. We've talked about this a little bit, like smart cities. Like imagine the camera like pays you, or helps to track whether or not you get paid for like picking up trash and putting it into the garbage can. You know, it's like if you could create a society where like everything that you do is being monitored, but that could be to your benefit if everyone now becomes an agent of the state, is kind of what I think you're describing, or the city or whatever. And so since you're being monitored and tracked, anything that you do in service to the city or the state, you get compensated for in city coin or state coin. Certainly possible.
10 cents a bottle. Yeah, I guess they kind of have that with money as is.
Yeah. Yeah.
At sporting events, there's always people going by with the bags and just scooping up all the cans and whatnot.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So imagine you have state money where that's state sponsored as well. Cause that's like, I believe some organizations that are going to break it down and, resell it or whatever. But what if the state says, just because that's what we want you to do, you know, and you can program that with, central bank digital currencies and all that. So that's like the side of tokenization that's like scary. It's like, central bank money and programmability of what you can even do. But, you know, it's all a big major double-edged sword. I think we're gonna see it the same way that like people don't like AI. And it's
Mhm.
like, is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be bad? Probably a little bit of both. I think that's what we see with blockchain and the tokenization of everything as well.
Because there's so many different ways you can handle it, right?
Mhm.
And so go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, yep, and then like different places are gonna have different outcomes.
Yeah, that'll be super interesting to see. I really hope that there truly becomes like a global marketplace for people and talent. Like that would be awesome. And I think that people would start liking free markets a lot more if that would ever actually happen,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because I don't like most people have not personally benefited from like immediately from like w- a free market in all of its glory. Do you know what I mean? Like when people are competing, I saw this through sports and whatnot. Like you get better, the outcome gets better when there are people who are genuinely competing and the incentives are proper,
Mhm.
right? I think
Mhm.
most people have a very tainted view of a free market because we don't live in a free market.
Right.
We live
Right.
in something that's pretending to be a free market and is very far from that.
Yeah. One of my super, I think I brought this up a few months ago. One of my super like left wing friends,
Mhm.
he made a post that like really made me think. It was like he was like saying how socialism is good or whatever, and it was like, do you want socialism where like people get the benefits, or do you want socialism where all of like the few capitalists who are in the circle get the benefit? Which is pretty much just what we have now. It's just like socialism, but not for it's socialism for the capitalists. I forget what it was with some term like that.
Mm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
honestly, that's pretty true. you know?
Yeah.
Uh
Uh, Thomas says you got to redistribute the wealth first. I don't really even disagree with that. There's one guy who talks about this all the time, or he talks about taxes more. Uh, Barry's economics or Gary's
Gary.
Gary, yeah.
Mhm.
And one point that he brought up was just like when you have that levels of wealth, compounding on itself, it becomes unsustainable.
Mm, mhm, mhm.
So I something's got to be done because like you gotta put in things in place to where human beings, like individual humans, can't become more powerful than like full on nation states and stuff. So I guess maybe I'm a hypocrite. Maybe like I don't want a truly free market. I want people to be able to win, but not take over the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting thought there. Like, how do you
I
uh,
think tax can be
yeah.
a way to do it if it's properly designed. And also a lot of the systems that they're doing, like a lot of the rules were written by people who were rich.
I feel like another piece of it that we've never seen and that both like communist types of people say, and I guess a capitalist could also say is like, wouldn't you also really need like one system? to really see a free market.
Well, I think you can still have a free market and there'll be taxes and stuff that are built into it. So like Iron Kingdom says, I'm very much a
For sure.
hypocrite. But like if compete while you're there, but like I think that what John said is inheritance taxes are a thing, right? Like you just always have your family has the money forever. Because think about the time when that's compounding. Like there's a lot of people out there that are living off of money from people that they've never even met.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like when I was younger, I would have thought that that was a terrible idea. But I think now, after also reading The Gospel of Wealth by Andrew Carnegie, I kind of like the idea of an inheritance tax. He talks about it, I'm pretty sure, in his essays.
I think that makes total sense. Like, why should they get like all of that? That doesn't make any sense. Like, if you won and you were an absolute like killer and you provided so much value to the world that you accumulated all this wealth, like fantastic, cool, you won. But why does that mean your kids won?
Right.
I think like you could probably find a middle ground, like where maybe
For
that
sure.
everyone will be comfortable forever. Like you're never going to be poor, but where you
Right.
can continue to compound on that wealth, like that doesn't really make so much sense to me. I think that's the state that we're in right now, where a lot of the richest people are not smart. Like
Oh, exactly.
they're not productive. They're not skilled. They if they were starting today, they'd be fucked.
100%. Like you're right. The incentives of that are off.
Yes,
Because now, not only do you not have to, but why would you even try to be a good person or try to like make the world better? It's like you don't even.
because
There's no reason to.
they don't live in the world,
Exactly.
right? Like the things that you would try to describe to them, uh, is like they can't relate to it. And we bring that up with the Silicon Valley people too. Like echo chambers are very much a very real thing. And if empathy is something that I think is innately human, but only if given the opportunity to foster itself. Right? Like if you are sheltered from ever developing the things that you see in people that create the empathy, you can't just force it. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like being
Yeah,
around people where you actually see their facial expressions, feel their pain, like see the experience for why that was created. Then of course I think anybody can develop empathy, but a lot of these people, they've been living in a fake world for a very long time. And if you have enough money, you think about it, like you can buy up pretty well whatever you want. Like how often are these politicians signing things, right? Because of funding and
for sure. For sure. Somebody was like, they'll find a way to get around it. Who was it that said that? Anastar 019. Yeah. I mean, the thing that Andrew Carnegie talks about in the Gospel of Wealth is uh I actually have this as like a part of my screensaver on my phone. He says, surplus wealth is a sacred trust upon which it is the responsibility of the holder to distribute throughout their lifetime. And so we've probably ranted on this before, but his point is when you die, there's only three things or so that happen. This is one of my favorite things to read. I loved it. One is your wealth goes to the state because you didn't elect anyone to receive it. The second is it goes to your heirs because that's what happens. Or you distribute it throughout your lifetime
mhm.
to just causes or whatever. And he was like, that's the only right thing to do because if you give it to the state, they're going to screw it. This is like the 1800s. You know what I mean? He's like, don't give it to the state. They're going to screw your money over, bro. Don't give it to your kids because they also don't get it. You know, they don't understand what you did to build it.
Mhm.
And then finally, it's like, who better to help distribute wealth in a way that would be prosperous for the world or for society than the person who generated it, right? The person who knows how to manage it.
Yeah.
So I thought that that was super powerful. And I'm like, if all of the capitalists of his and Andrew Carnegie is not perfect, nor was Rockefeller, none of these people were perfect.
Mhm.
But if all of the capitalists of today were like moving in that kind of a way, how much faster would the world become a better place for
Yeah,
everybody?
it could happen very, very quickly. Um, I am Kingdom saying some stuff I don't really agree with. They said that empathy is not inherent. I think they would say inherently human. I think it is if presented the opportunities. I think more people than not would develop empathy if given the opportunities to develop empathy. And to do that, you have to be around multiple experiences, shared experiences, all that stuff. And then they also, Jay Heron said, people are inherently bad trying to be good.
Very interesting, man.
I don't know if I agree with that either.
That's
I think
a very interesting take.
I think that there's people are naturally way more good than bad. I just think that a lot of people can be. I think a lot of people can be very easily pushed to do bad things. So does that make them bad, or does the system create the flaw? That's like a very much a philosophical debate, right? But I see like even people who do like evil things, like I think it's because the story in their head, they're the good guy, right? Because when they do something that is just like objectively nice, like when they help someone else or they give to someone they care about, like they feel great, right? I think that's something that I'm talking about in terms of good and bad are relative.
Yeah, it's a whole nother debate because which is important though, because you're like, people are inherently bad. Well, what do you even mean by that? You know what I mean? People are bad trying to be good. Well, in what way? You know what I mean? Bad to what
context
to what
matters.
standard?
What makes people you love more important than anyone else? A lot of philosophy arguments here, which you could go so many different directions.
Yeah.
People, person. I don't think they're saying that all people are inherently bad. Is that people with good intentions do bad things? Aren't purely good or bad. They're capable of both. And habits, environments, incentives, trauma, culture, and choices influence which shows up more often. Yeah, probably. That's a definition of a human. What's the definition of a human? I don't understand.
Somebody said
people person does not equal a human. Okay. Then what's the definition? I am Kingdom's on one today. Let me know what the definition of a human is. I think people are inherently good, as in they're born wanting good, but most people struggle to execute on that in life for a lot of reasons, in and out of their control. Yeah, no, a lot of good perspectives. When Jesus wields his sword, his enemies must think he is doing badly. That's also another thing too, right? Is that there's so many different angles to look at this. Like, is stopping someone who's bad through like violence, like, is that good, right? There's so many angles.
Yeah. I was actually just watching I have a friend from university who has like a Christian podcast, and that was one of the shorts that he just put out yesterday. It was like, if you kill someone in self-defense, right? Like, are you going to hell?
Bad.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever be able to answer that.
Yeah, it's super interesting because it was like, and it's so funny because I mean, shout out to him, man. Shout out to Alessandro. Like, he's pretty conservative, and I guess maybe Christianity leans that way in general. But so it's just kind of funny to hear like that kind of show up in the interpretation of things. You know what I mean? It's like you can't say it's not showing up a little bit. He was like, I believe in self-defense. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in the right to defend yourself. So it's like, it's kind of, you know, it sounds a little Floridian, you know what I mean? But it was also, you know, in terms of, there was some theological things that he was saying, but I'm not advanced enough to be able to speak on that stuff. But
yeah, it's a complex thing that we're all part of for sure. Bill says, so surveillance state when? It's almost needed at this point. Good game, World Economic Forum.
Yeah. We've definitely gone a little bit philosophical and deep with you guys here. Pretty quickly.
I don't get this, Kingdom, at all. I'd love for you to expand on this. Human is defined as a monster. That's why they are always trying to be something. Human being. Why is that? Where does the connection to monster? So trying to be something makes you a monster?
perspective. That's fascinating. So where were we?
Tokenization.
The tokenization of everything. So we've had some pretty big announcements over the past couple of, or just really 1 week, about all of this that's happening. And in regards to the DTCC in particular, once again, the behemoth of the updating of all of the records of who owns what in the securities world.
That sounds incredibly daunting.
They're the ones. They basically just told at the beginning or at the end of last year in December, they got a no action letter from the SEC saying, look, you guys can tokenize stuff. I guess they said, hey, we would like to tokenize stuff. They said, cool, go ahead. And so at the beginning of this year, they were like, by the way, we got a no action letter. We're going to tokenize stuff in the second half of this year. And then a week ago, they came out and said, we're doing it. July 13th, we're going live. And then in October, fully live with like everything. But July is like the beginning. And so in these announcements, they've littered little pieces of like who they're working with in making this happen. And they talked about, first off, Canton Network was explicitly stated that they were going to be tokenizing some of these securities on the Canton Network.
I see a lot of comments all across YouTube on that. Some of them did feel like bots, though.
Well, it's the same kind of people that would, be, for instance, in the XRP world.
Okay.
And so, yeah. They mentioned the Canton Network. They also mentioned a private Ethereum chain. And
the layer 2?
Well, it's a private chain, so you could look at it as an L2, but it's technically not. It's private Ethereum chains aren't really like Ethereum. It's just that it'll model the consensus of Ethereum in a private environment.
So Ethereum wouldn't benefit from that?
No, not really. No. The benefit, the reason they even call it and use it in that way is, one, for the standardization, right? So like now you can have ERC20s as an example because it's Ethereum. You can use Solidity because it's using an Ethereum virtual machine. It's usually what it's really about, is the Ethereum virtual machine more than anything.
Yes.
And yeah, so now everyone who knows how to develop in this world, you can just come on over. Hyperledger was mentioned. Hyperledger Bisu, which is an OG private blockchain that has been developed for quite some time. And so people are kind of freaking out. They're like, bro, like, no, XRPL is going to be used for tokenization of everything. And people are like, dude, the Canton Network is like right there. Like, it's literally in the documents. What are you talking about? And then there's been mentions of, the DTCC and Chainlink have been very open about their collaborations on being able to collaborate to get information in and out of the DTCC ecosystem as well. And something else that's going on in the background is the Clarity Act potentially going through a vote this week.
Yeah, I've seen people tweeting about that like literally today. Widowy today.
Yeah. Apparently they came to some agreement and then they're like fighting again, and the banks are like, no, we can't allow this. It must not be. Which is interesting. I mean, it's not surprising, right? It's been so funny to watch the headlines come out about this. It's like, oh, they came to a compromise about the stablecoin yield. And it's like, actually, no, they didn't. And it's like, oh, they came to another agreement. It's like, no, they didn't. No one, like the things that they're saying they agreed upon didn't change. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about stablecoin yield. Are you going to allow yield on stablecoins? Are you going to allow yield? Are you going to allow yield on stablecoins without any other reason for the yield other than just that they're holding it? Or can it come from the rewards for doing something else within these ecosystems?
Yes.
And so the banks have been, what they're trying to get done is like, yes, it's okay if they're getting rewarded for doing something else, but not just for holding the stablecoin, because then that's going to compete with bank deposits. So it was like, oh, they came to a compromise, and it's like they allowed them to get it for just rewards, at least in the ecosystem. But then it's like, bro, but they were never cool with that. They keep on saying they're not actually cool with that. So anyways, that's that piece. But on the tokenization thing, Chainlink, and even today, we just had an announcement from the DTCC. So let me pull that up for you guys. just a few hours ago. And shout out to let me find him real quick because he tagged me. Link Toad. Shout out to Link Toad, Ari H. Bari, for tagging me in this morning as I posted my video. Yeah, much appreciated. So today, the DTCC announced progress toward our goal of advancing 24/7 collateral mobility. DTCC's Collateral app chain, a shared infrastructure platform for collateral, will leverage the Chainlink runtime environment and Chainlink data standard to enable near real-time collateral management across financial markets and blockchains. This integration will enable the seamless pairing of asset prices, valuations, and movement with the aim of overhauling how market risk is managed globally and unlock greater capital efficiency. This milestone reflects our broader vision to enable 24/7 near real-time collateral management across the global financial system.
It always has seemed to me that what it is that Chainlink is solving is dramatically underappreciated. So what would things like this, like how would that impact the underlying asset of like the linked, of like the Link token?
So Link has one major issue. Maybe it's not an issue over the long run, but it's a supply problem. Okay. But the way that the Link token works outside of the supply, we'll get back to that, is that it's essentially, okay, it's not literally, but it essentially is a proof of stake mechanism. Let me explain. We kind of got to back up a little bit. Chainlink is a decentralized oracle. What that means is that you have two separate worlds that exist. You have databases and traditional financial applications, and then you have blockchains that are like these permissionless systems that just like run on smart contracts that execute based upon logic, and like this whole world of just like, financial dealings that are happening autonomously, like robots almost, right? Doing things on their own. And what Chainlink does is it helps to bring information from outside of the blockchain world into it in a secure manner. Let me back up. A blockchain, once a transaction happens on a blockchain, it can't really be taken back in most cases. So when you're making a transaction on a blockchain using a smart contract that is going to be executed based upon some information, then you need to make sure that that information is accurate. And you need to make sure that there's no way for someone to game it. And also, this matters because if you're using a smart contract in an application, it's just code that executes on the blockchain. But if you're getting information that's coming from outside of the blockchain, imagine Ethereum, then I need to have a way to get that information to the blockchain in the first place. So these ideas of like, oh, what can you do with a smart contract on the blockchain? So if a smart contract can allow you to autonomously settle a transaction based upon a condition that happens before, right? Like I'll pay you, Ben, I'll give you a loan, Ben, if you have $1,000 in your account. But if you don't, then I'm not going to give you $1,000. So I can build a smart contract that writes that in to where even as soon as you get $1,000 in your account, bang, immediately I'll give you some money from my wallet on the blockchain. But the blockchain, I can only do that. I can do that just fine because that's information that's on the blockchain, what's in your wallet. But if I need something else, like I'll give you $1,000, but if you have $1,000 in your bank account, then now we got to figure out how to get your bank account information into the blockchain. Okay, so that's what the oracles do. That's what decentralized oracles are solving, is the problem of how do you get information on the blockchain.
Totally.
All right. Sorry.
No, you're good. That's awesome. Jay Huron had said that as well. It's not really a blockchain, it's an oracle.
Yes.
And then Cross Central had said Link is just a governance token, but they have a treasury. Is that true?
Let me explain what I understand about the Link token. So in order to secure the information that's coming from the outside source into this blockchain, I need a way to build a system that guarantees that no one is lying about getting that information over there. So decentralized Oracle networks work where I become a node of Chainlink, okay? Meaning I'm going to fetch information from somewhere else, or even I'll be the information provider.
Okay.
And I'll submit that information to the decentralized Oracle network on Chainlink. I'm one person that's submitting that information. Let's say it's the price of the NASDAQ today. I'm going to report that information from the CME. But I also need Bob and Jill and Thomas to do the same thing at the same time, so that basically we know from several different sources that the information that's being provided is true. Okay. And so with that, the other mechanism that's in place to make sure that no one lies is that as a link node operator, I'm going to stake my link. Okay. So I'm going to have a bunch of this link token, and I'm going to say, look, just like on a proof of stake network, but for the validation of consensus on the network, we're doing this for consensus of the information being true. I'm saying I put up 100 link that says I'm not lying. And if I lie, which everyone's checking each other to see if they're lying, if my information doesn't match up with somebody else's, with everyone else's, then I'm lying. Then you can take my stake away. You can take my Chainlink. And so Chainlink, the link token, is also being used as a way to essentially collateralize, right, the truth and the validity of the information that's being purported throughout the entire ecosystem.
So it just being adopted more into more of these systems would, like, how does that accrue to the actual asset, the value? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what causes the price to go up?
So if I'm gonna be using these Chainlink based applications, there's fees that are being generated, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every time you're calling information from the Chainlink decentralized Oracle network, you're gonna have to pay.
Got it. Okay.
And so as a node operator, I'm earning link as well if I don't lie and if I'm telling the truth.
Yes. Got it.
And so now the demand, right, for operating a node goes up because I can get paid to do this. And if I'm a user of Chainlink, then I would want to own as much link as possible so that my fees are essentially as negligible as possible.
Got it. Yeah, that's a great explanation, Jay, here on use case. The connection between old and new TradFi and DeFi.
Yep.
That's good.
And so, and like Chainlink is much more than just like, they've created such a moat around themselves. Sergey Nazarov
is a beast.
And
he's been there having the conversations with all these people for a very long time. He's not as popular because he's not as controversial, I'd say, in terms of like crypto Twitter, but he's been there.
100%.
Yes, sir. Night. Great point.
What do you think?
Chainlink isn't creating a market, it's providing infrastructure needed for a market, particularly where hard assets are involved to occur, like facilitating the communication of systems.
Yes, exactly. That's what I've always loved about Chainlink is, first off, it's agnostic. It's chain agnostic. Okay? I don't care.
They win in any scenario.
They win every single time. And so, and they're solving a real problem, enabling a real new world. It's gonna be crazy.
Is there a strong Chainlink community?
Yes, they're crazy. They're animals. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully we clip this and get some.
They will attack. They'll rip up all that stuff I just said, probably. But so it mentions in this article with the DTCC is talking about the Chainlink runtime environment. And so what this is about is the standardization for how information moves in this kind of a way. Okay. You can see here on their website, connect any system, any data, any chain. Okay, so Chainlink has done, once again, quite a few things. One of them is this runtime environment. The second thing is the cross-chain interoperability protocol.
That's awesome, Jerry.
What did he say?
I cringe when I hear Chainlink. LOL, I worked for a fence company when I was a kid. That's like a type of fence.
Gotcha. That's wild. So they've also created a standard for cross-chain communication. And you know, listen, y'all reach out whenever y'all want to sponsor us, but definitely doing some things that are fundamental.
Do they work with creators?
Not really.
Yeah, I guess
They used
probably
to
don't.
a little bit, but
Yeah.
Yeah. They had a little bit of something, but then not anymore, man.
Thanks for breaking that down. Where were you in the tokenization conversation?
So I mean, honestly, dude, that's my favorite piece of it. I'll continue because everyone's always like, "What are your top favorite tokens and what are your top favorite themes?" And I'm always preaching interoperability.
Yeah, you've been saying that since you started your YouTube channel.
Since the very beginning. And I just try my best not to use Chainlink by name because there's other options. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
but that's also one of my biggest gripes with people who come into crypto is that like you'll say something like that, and if you don't know like that concept, you probably got to do some more of your own research.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like,
Oh yeah.
if you don't know when you say that's what you're referring to, then that's kind of problematic in terms of your comprehension of what's being built.
This is my litmus test for whether or not someone understands blockchain. Do you understand a decentralized oracle? Like anyone who's going to go through our interview processes and they want to I'm going to test you to see if you know crypto in particular. Like that's going to be the question. Do you understand an oracle?
So when we have our news person, that's what you'll ask them.
If they're saying that they know crypto, yes. Because it's pretty funny because I remember I had a conversation with a guy who I was interviewing, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I know crypto. I studied this and that, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "Do you know what a consensus mechanism is? Like, what's a consensus mechanism?" He's like,
Yeah, I think a lot of once we got to a point now where it's all headlines, like we talk about this like so frequently, but the foundational knowledge has just been skipped. If you come in and watch crypto content today, it's just price go up, character said this, right? It's like politics, honestly.
Yes.
So you have a course coming out soon, don't you?
I mean, always dropping knowledge. Always dropping knowledge. But yeah, well, there's you mean for the one that I was talking about last night?
Yeah.
Like just that video or like a whole course here?
Well,
What are we talking about?
Isn't that a course?
I mean, it's a part of a course. It's 30 minutes. It's like, you know, it's pretty good stuff.
Coursey.
Okay, yeah, it's coursey. Yes. We're gonna drop that on the Memes and Markets crypto channel.
Yes.
It's gonna be a full layout of everything.
You need a thumb for that still, right?
I do.
Have we started on that, or do you want me to start on that?
Yeah, I'll need your help on the packaging in general.
That sounds gooch.
I had an idea, but that was months ago before I had been studying under the bin discipleship. But yeah, so I love it. I could talk about all of the stuff forever regarding like what are the use cases for a decentralized Oracle network. I ran a node. I actually set up a node once, and I was so proud of myself, man. When I got
was that difficult?
It kind of was as a non-technical person, but for a technical person, bro,
probably not.
It takes you like an hour.
And was this in the age of AI or?
This was pre-AI. This was pre-AI.
That's a lot more impressive.
Yeah, this was like 2020, 2021.
We should try to get Sergey on, man.
Man, would love to have Sergey. Would love to, man. He's awesome. And it's just wild. Like he's been doing this for a minute too, right? Like he's no different than Vitalik, really. You know, as far as how long he's been in the game and around all this stuff. But yeah, it's so weird how little coverage they get. Like Sergey is like.
You think it's on purpose?
I think from them, they don't care for the retail. Like they're not doing what they're doing for retail. So yeah, they don't like they do their stuff. They make it super professional. They don't you know, get into the drama, and it's just because like, bro, we're building with the DTCC. You know?
Yeah, well, if you look at most projects, like getting retail involved may be great at points of euphoria, but it has equal, if not greater, consequences when there's downturns.
Most certainly, man.
Like it's so funny how every community thinks like their project was a scam. Like it's like, let's say your big bet was Cardano, or like take your pick, bro. If you go to every community, they're yelling at someone saying that it was a scammer, grifter, right? With Sui, it's Raul, right?
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah. I
It's
forgot
the
about
same
that.
thing. Like if you swap the names, it's the same thing. People are saying so. I get why he may want to do this. Maybe it's just a happy accident, but like look at Charles, how much shit he deals with because he is
Right.
discussing with people.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
really like they're having two separate conversations, which is usually the problem, right? Charles is talking about like the philosophical bigger picture, and all the person bitching about is they want ADA to be $3.
Right.
That's like literally all they care about. They don't care about anything else.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing about the Link community. There's like this masochistic like kind of feature to them,
How so?
because like the token just doesn't perform.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't, but they'll never go kind of like XRP people to an extent, and oh god, they're gonna persecute me for that. But
Yeah, you're gonna get cooked for that.
it's kind of similar. It's like, okay, here's what I'll give the Chainlink people. There's more hard evidence of the actual relationships and the developments that are being done, and there's technology that's been shipped that they can point to and say this is there, it exists. Whereas Ripple and XRP people are much more like hypothetical, speculative. If this, then
It's more
that.
conspiratorial.
Yes.
Yeah. There someone said that I've seen it a few times in the chat. So where is it? Where is the name of the Chainlink community called the where is it? Link Marines or something? That's actually what they call themselves?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And what do you know the origin of that?
I have no idea, actually. I have no idea. Yeah, the Link Marines, bro.
It goes kind of hard, man.
Yeah,
I'll look it up. Link Marines.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the term Link Marines originated around 2019 to 2020 as a nickname for the highly dedicated 50,000 plus member community of supporters and investors in Chainlink. The term was born on social media, particularly on platforms like Twitter. Give me some more here, where supporters aggressively promoted the token. It signifies a devoted crypto community. This is horseshit. Give me something.
It might just be as simple as like XRP Army, Link Marines, you know?
Yeah, I think you're right. It says the cultural context says the name is sometimes used to evoke a sense of disciplined, unified force, reminiscent of the U.S. Marine Corps, working to promote the adoption of the Chainlink technology, with some members even identifying with titles like Chainlink God.
Yes, that's the guy. So I actually technically worked with him, but he was not doxxed at the time. And I think I've talked about this on the show already, but like there was a moment where I recognized, I was like, you're a Chainlink guy.
Really?
And that was really funny. But yeah, there's like, you know, I never did anything special, but like being around in the crypto space in 2020, like I got to see some of the characters that are like hyper relevant today. I remember being on a call with Eric Voorhees from MetaMask and stuff, and like just being there. I wasn't leading the conversation, you know what I mean? Just being a fly on the wall. And it was just like, dang, this kind of feels like I'm participating in history to some degree.
That's super cool.
But yeah, man, he was one of those guys when I was talking about like these people who were just minting back in DeFi summer. Like, dude was just printing money back then.
Does he do podcasts?
I'd have to try to reach him. I don't know that he does. I've never heard him talk. He, like I said, he wasn't even doxxed before. He didn't even put his name out. But I've never seen him talk anywhere.
Yeah, they say here's one culty vibes. Every crypto community is a cult.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, dude, like honestly, Chainlink people and XRP people hate each other.
But they're similar.
But they're the same thing.
Typically, that's often the case, right? Like who people hate most is often like who reminds them of themselves subconsciously.
Yeah. And it's also funny because like there's this one character on Chainlink, like his whole page, his whole thing is like crapping on XRP people. And it's a pretty big page. I can't think of his name. I know the logo, his like profile picture as soon as I see it, but like his whole personality is just like, this isn't XRP, it's Chainlink, and like he's just doing that all day long. And he even did it with another community that I think Sarah mentioned not too long ago in the chat. I try not to mention it out loud, but Sarah, I think you are hip. Yeah, that's who it is. To all of that stuff, and the Chainlink people also go at them as well, even though I think they're totally separate use cases. But anyways, what else were we talking about here, man? Yeah. Oh, so the big thing I'm doing a series right now on my channel is like, so we had this announcement about Ondo doing a collaboration with Ripple, doing a collaboration with JPMorgan and Mastercard, all in one major transaction where there was a redemption of a tokenized treasury fund. And people are like, which one of these characters is actually going to be the winner of this whole tokenization thing? And then that guy responded to me today and he was like, too late. They've actually also launched their own chain, which they did say in their rhetoric, in their information. The DTCC said, we're also exploring launching our own chain. And so I think that's what they're doing. So these other players might be involved, but it won't necessarily be like the main thing. Victor Gonzalez, they call the H bar holders the H barbarians. Cross Central, Chainlink and XRP can work together without a doubt. It's really silly the way that there's this like fight about it.
There's so much of that across every community, and I think it all seems really, really stupid because I feel like we should be more focused on raising the tide.
100%, bro. 100%.
It's very much like a zero-sum game, and I guess that probably spills over from the systems that we've all been operating in, where it feels like there has to be a loser in the same space for there to be a winner. But I really feel like we all win when we all win.
100%, man. So that's pretty good. So yeah, like that's kind of the major thing that's happening with tokenization right now. All of this has the potential to unlock a lot of value. There's a couple of other things we haven't touched on, like fractionalization, right? That's a really big deal regarding allowing people to enter. I think we've talked about it before, like the way this has worked in the past, I think this is hilarious, is so you have like these ETFs for the S&P 500, for instance, like the QQQ, for the NASDAQ, the QQQ. And that gets up to where it's like, all right, it's like $600 for one share because the price of the indexes continue to grow. And then so what do? Well, they make a like 1/10 version called the QQQM, the mini. And it's, instead of $700, it's $70. So you can buy that. But I mean, eventually, guess what? That's also going to end up $700. So what are you going to do? You're going to make the QQQMM, the mini. You know what I mean? And so eventually, right, you would imagine that we'd want to get to a point where instead of having to do that over and over again, you just fractionalize the thing so that you can own a piece of it. And that is also something that tokenization enables. So that also allows more people to participate, right? Because
totally,
you might not have $70 even.
And that could go across a bunch of different asset classes too, right? And it also provides a lot of innovation for what is typically a fairly illiquid asset. Right, that does change things quite a bit, where now people could have limited exposure to something where you previously would have needed to take on the entire risk of the investment. Like let's say like a house or something, right?
Correct.
Or property, whatever.
Yes. And so the other side of some of that is, and this is what the DTCC is super focused on, and it's in that tweet, collateralization management. So the other side of this is when you own something, you want to be able to like not have to sell it to access the value of it. And so the reason why the tokenization of treasuries is such a big deal is because instead of having to sell treasuries, you can potentially, in an automated on-chain sort of a manner, borrow off of them. Okay. And so that also is super powerful because yes, you could do that now without blockchain, but now you can do this autonomously, right? once again, that concept of like, once certain conditions are met, then you can borrow. And this is how much you can borrow based upon the value of your collateral. And this is what they're saying when they say, you know, real-time collateral management in this tweet. Let me try to find it real quick. 24/7 near real-time collateral management across the global financial system.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's a big deal.
So that's another thing that's enabled from this tokenization as well.
Brand has a question. How can you see tokenization? How can it be verified?
Well, it's on the blockchain. It's a good question. But you would be able to verify it on the blockchain. Now,
you could see it.
Now, to be fair, Brand One, a lot of this is happening in private blockchains, right? Like what the DTCC is talking about is going to be on a private blockchain. And so Paul Atkins came out a few months ago and was saying, we talked about it a little bit, we'll come back to it though, maybe in green. Paul Atkins came out and he was like, this is going to enable transparency, you know, in the securities industry, because there's a lot of fraud and a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in the background. And so now a private blockchain can still help with that, but it doesn't mean that you and I get to see, you know, it just means that like a regulator,
the people involved can see,
and the people involved can see what's going on in the background. Like for instance, the SEC will be able to run a node on this private blockchain, you know what I mean? And participate and see what's going on in the background. But you or I, not that we couldn't run a node, maybe there's a way in which we could, but what incentive do we have to do it? Because it's not a public chain, you're not earning anything, it's not the point. So so that's one side of that. But then the other side of that is maybe you do get to a point to where, you know, we've talked about this quite a bit, like maybe like the XRP Ledger, let me just toss it out there. You have these chains where they're used to verify the record in public as well, right? So it adds cost to do this, but if you now have a publicly auditable trail that for sure cannot be mutated because it's public and everyone's participating in the consensus to some degree, there could be some benefit to that as well, right? So you have a private blockchain where the transactions and the settlement is happening. But then once again, you push that over to a public chain as well. And you link it back and say, in the XRP transaction, for instance, you link that, or you put a note that says this was the receipt for this transaction that happened in the back end on the private network. Okay, and so you reference like the hash of the private chain, right? And now you've got a public trail of what actually has occurred in private. So that's another option here as well. Yeah. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it changes things in ways I think a lot of people can't even fathom right now, which is exciting because that also probably means that a lot of people will be speculating once they do start to grasp the concept, which is exciting.
Matt Hogan made some pretty strong statements. Let's see if I can find it. I think like last week he was talking about so he was saying how price precedes flows. Okay. And so what he was saying, because he's Bitwise, I don't know if he's a CEO of the company or not, but a major executive over at Bitwise. He's a CIO and co-founder of something else. And what he said was price precedes flows for the ETFs, is what he's saying. So the price of these assets are going to go up before you start to see institutions going hard on it. Dude, I'm kind of mad because I just saw this and now all of a sudden I can't find his quote, and I know that it's on Twitter. But anyways, he basically, oh, here it is, I found it. Let's go. I'm not actually sure what this clip is from or how old it is, to be honest.
Does price come into this at all? I mean, like I mentioned the market, obviously, and XRP's price has 25% down this year. You know, there's flows into XRP. Obviously, we're seeing record inflows, but does this disconnect with the price tell you anything?
I mean, it tells me that we haven't really tapped the full level of demand. Look, it's absolutely true that whether they should or not, flows follow price. If we were at all-time highs, the strong flows we've seen into XRP ETFs would be 3, 4, 5, 6 times as big. So there is a reflexive loop here where if we get into a positive crypto market, which I think we are, I think the second half of the year is going to be extraordinary. You're going to see the flows accelerate, which of course does have a feedback back into the price. There is a positive circle there. The fact that these ETFs have had such strong flows in a market in crypto that fell 50% from its alt is extraordinary, right? That was not what most people would have expected.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that's from this year. And he seems to be optimistic.
Yeah, humans, we always want to wait for consensus. It's so funny. Like, we would rather buy something that is like 10x the price than it's always so fascinating. But if you can overcome that cognitive bias and buy when it's not fun, that's how wealth gets made in any asset class, any sector,
in any area of your life.
Yeah, literally any area of your life, right? Doing stuff when it's not cool is typically the time when you should be doing it. Because, like, look at Pokemon cards right now. We talked about that recently. And the Pokemon card people are on one right now. Like, I'm further, like, I have more conviction by the day seeing these comments from these people who, like, are so confident in the fact that they're the best asset class in the world. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And how like what I've been going back and forth trolling this guy a little bit in the comment section. He's like, you're one of those, because I said that I think some of those people will rotate into NFTs and that will create a price appreciation there, because people are so ignorant, man. Like, they don't realize that such a small amount of people need to enter NFTs for prices to go crazy. Like, they just don't get that.
Well, yeah, I definitely did not get that at all until talking to you over and over again.
Which I understand, but it's like the most ignorant people are usually the loudest and the most mean. It's just like really funny. But so he's like, so because I said that, he's like, you're one of those you'll own nothing and be happy people, basically signifying that, like, the fact that it's physical really, really matters. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You really think that matters as much as you think? Yeah. It's the fact that people are making money, man. That is the whole thing.
Yeah, we're not talking about like gold. We're not talking about a monetary asset. We're talking about a collectible.
Yes.
So it's a collectible. Form.
Yes, that gives people status, but the status usually comes from holding something that other people want. And when other people want something, the price of it goes up. So at the end of the day, it is dollars and cents that is bringing people to it. Like, it's easy to justify the passion that you have around it because the IP is very strong. But at the end of the day, especially the people entering now, it is purely a financial decision.
Super fair, man.
So I hope to see, I don't hope on anyone's downfall, but like, I'm very confident we'll start to see that will start to fall. And I'm curious to see how these people, because we've seen it in crypto too. Like, when people are in states of euphoria, oh, it's the future of everything.
Every time.
And also, it's really great because people think right now that will never happen again.
Yes.
Which is probably a great indication that it's a fantastic time to be purchasing some.
Yes. Sir Knight, let's hear, because you had some rebuttal for Matt Hogan's words. Let me actually try to scroll back and see what you said.
Yeah, go find it.
You said, that's not true, though. Flows don't follow price. For those that know, price follows informed traders and market makers. And then you followed up by saying, in any market, and price discovery is driven by the interaction between informed traders and liquidity providers, the market makers.
Aren't both of those statements true in different scales and in different context?
Yeah, I don't see where what you said is not in alignment with what Matt Hogan said. Price follows informed traders and market makers. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Matt Hogan, what he's saying is that as an ETF manager, people buy things when the price goes up.
Feels good.
And so he's not saying that. Yeah, I don't know if what you're saying disagrees. Yeah, that's all he's saying. Basically, is that people buy once the price goes up.
I think he might be zooming in like more to like its true origin point, that like what makes the price go up initially, which then creates that is how I'm interpreting that.
Right. And I don't feel that Matt Hogan makes a statement on why the price goes up.
Mhm.
Like you're just saying once it does, then you get people who, by the way, like who are ETF buyers.
Yes.
People who are not necessarily super informed.
Totally. Yeah, that's why they buy it like that.
Yeah.
Dave said, but if we got that wrong, Sir Knight, just let us know.
Yeah.
Dave said, I've started to learn more about NFTs. As a gamer, EA is going to be all over it. Every gaming company is going to have to be all over it because, guys, understand this. In the age of AI game development, the only moat these big companies have is IP. Intellectual property is the only thing they have, which means remakes, and it means collectibles of things within the game, NFTs. So it's all going to be like, and for EA, it's partnerships. That's their only moat. So yeah, of course, they're going to milk the crap out of, but they love to rinse people every time. So I don't know how receptive they'll be to it, but they do have the partnerships. The exclusivity for the big licensing is a very big deal. That's why Madden sucks ass, because they're the only one that can make a football game.
Right.
Counter-Strike. Do you play that, Thomas? I've heard that talked about all the time, and I've never played that game.
Something that you said that came up. I didn't even realize what this tweet was all about until just now. But Reddit co-founder says 90% of games in 5 years will be blockchain play-to-earn titles. This was back in the height of the sort of metaverse kind of grind back in 2022. At the end of 2021, really. This was January 2022 that he said this. I didn't realize this because I just saw this posted yesterday. But that means that there's like 1 year left before something like this were to occur. So I just wanted to pop that up.
The people closest to tech, they're usually right about what happens, but they grossly underestimate the time that it takes.
Fair.
Because they're usually so smart on it, it's so obvious to them.
Right, for so long.
They're like, how are you guys not seeing this? Right? And also they're probably not fully grasping the strength of the forces that would oppose that change.
Totally.
Right? Like if you have enough money, you can slow things from being adopted pretty dramatically. I'd love to have a Dark Magician NFT. Is Dark Magician, is that Yu-Gi-Oh?
Maybe.
I think I'm screwing this up.
How did Yu-Gi-Oh not become such a thing? Like, why is Yu-Gi-Oh not as big as like Pokemon?
They didn't. Their characters are a lot harder to build a relationship with, because they're not as like personified. They're more like objects.
Wow, that's so true.
Do you know what I'm saying? So like you can think it's cool and it's badass, but having like a deep relationship with that, a lot more difficult. Plus, to get both sides of like men and women, there weren't that many like cute Yu-Gi-Oh characters. It definitely,
True.
I would argue, it skews to the male demographic like hard. Whereas there's a lot of cute Pokemon.
Wow.
So that's what I would say. I was also a master dueler, by the way, back in the day. I had this one. I did, unfortunately. I had this one deck that I spent so many years perfecting, and I just cooked my friends with it.
That's awesome. Yu-Gi-Oh was super cool to me. I thought it was sick.
It was super dope, and it still is getting a bid right now in terms of the fact that the collectible market, because people are seeing what's happening in Pokemon, so there's a trickle down into all these other things. So the whole card collectible market is a bubble but Pokemon is carrying it up.
It's got to be such a fascinating thing to have created that brand and watch it, decades
Pokemon?
later become like the mainstream thing.
But Pokemon was so absurdly genius, man. From like every piece of it was so smart. We always talk about viral loops for our products we're building, and I obsess over that. They were like one of the first people to like really get that from an IP perspective. Every touch point was a viral loop, right? The games itself, you had to share it with somebody else because there was 2 versions. You could to collect them all. Somebody else had to have the different version. You had to trade with them.
Interesting.
Right. So like all the mechanisms is like they were just so brilliantly designed, and they really thought about like Japanese people are freaking awesome at this. There's a reason why most of our childhoods have been created in Japan. It's because they understand the art form of creating a connection to a character. But what is Yu-Gi-Oh? Yu-Gi-Oh was this trading card game, like but you'd like battle and stuff. It was pretty badass.
Yeah.
Like Blue Eyes White Dragon, that was a classic.
Yes, yeah, that was like the sick one.
And
And
then
then there
Dark
was like a
Magician, I believe.
movie.
Oh yeah, there was a movie. If you went
That
to it,
was
you
sick.
got cards and stuff.
Like this is making me think about the fact that
Magic Gathering is huge too. Yes.
also younger people, like, yeah, you probably wouldn't know what Yu-Gi-Oh is if you're younger. I don't know if you're younger or not, but
Yeah, they probably missed that.
yeah, like it's
Yeah.
not even a thing.
You have the Yu-Gi-Oh arm thing. I used to. Yeah, yeah.
I used to too. I had
Slice.
one.
But Pokemon, also the benefit that Pokemon had is that they created the expectation that there's new gen, right? Like Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. So that way everybody can have their own entry point that is uniquely theirs and it's new to everyone.
mm,
So the nostalgia is equally powerful, but the lore grows with every subsequent generation.
gotcha.
Do you know what I'm saying? So like it's so genius that like I will be able to tell my kid, and my kid will fall in love with the current gen, but I'll have so much to talk about, right? And then I have an affinity towards the specific gen. Like for me, Gen 2 was my favorite, right? So like
Gotcha.
I have a connection to that, and it's a very, very well made.
Heard, man. So
But
yeah, like
still a bubble though. Still a massive bubble.
it's like even for younger people now, like what sort of entry point do they have to Pokemon?
Oh, dude, crazy. I knew it was a bubble when one of my best friend's kid is into it now. I was like,
Wow.
okay, it's topped because there wasn't really a direct route towards him finding it, and my buddy is not into Pokemon whatsoever. So I was like, the fact that it's gotten that far and that wide, where his kid who doesn't even go to school yet, right? Because that's the difference. Like if he was in school, he could have run into a friend, his friend liked it, whatever. But the fact that he's into it here, I'm like, okay, I think this is the top signal.
What is the kid like 4?
Yeah.
You're getting top signals from a 4-year-old?
Yeah. I think that's the truest indication for something like this. But their entry way in is the cards for some people, but the anime is a big deal.
Because
The
they still make
show.
them? Or
yeah,
just
they-
old ones?
They still make them.
Wow.
But the ones, I think the oldest ones are on Netflix, I believe. And they'd be better than a lot of newer things, like newer cartoons. And I'm sure
Mhm.
parents would love for their kid to watch the same shit they watched.
Right.
The plastic Beyblades were so sick. Did you ever play Beyblades?
No, I didn't. I didn't even know what
Yeah,
that
you're
was
probably
a few
too
months
young.
ago.
You probably missed that. It's Pokemon. Yeah, that's a great point, Hart, right here. Pokemon Go did revive it in a very big way, and
Oh,
also
true.
brought in a ton of casuals,
True.
right? Because I was like a massive nerd with the game, where I was like breeding Pokemon for specific skills and attributes.
Mm.
And so obviously people like me who's been playing it since they were a kid, they were never going anywhere. They got us forever. But Pokemon Go was such a casual experience that got a lot of people familiar with the characters, the ecosystem, and then that spills over into the different touch points that they have. But yeah, Beyblades was sick. I had this metal Beyblade. It was so dope. It would create sparks and stuff.
Pokemon Go is definitely understudied, I feel like.
Well, it's kind of a bit of a scandal now, where apparently a lot of that data was being used to train things.
Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing something about that. But yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I also think that NFTs will become uber legitimate the day that Pokemon steps in.
I mean, bro, if you did that with NFTs, imagine Pokemon Go.
They
NFTs.
will. They won't take risks. Right? So once it's mature enough of a market, that's it, man.
That's
I love
great.
Pokemon Go. Yeah, Pokemon Go was truly an insane thing. But yeah, thanks for being so active in the chat, guys. It's always awesome. You want to show them our highlights channel, Keith?
Yeah. We are highlighting the conversations that we're having here on Memes and Markets. And they're pretty good, not gonna lie. So in the description of this video, there's a link to the Memes and Markets highlights channel where all of the best bits of the conversations that we're having are living on this channel. And we need extreme help from you guys to get this up to 1,000 subscribers.
Yes, we've already hit the watch hours requirement from YouTube. We're just trying to get to the, which tells you that people are enjoying these conversations.
Yes, people are eating it up. They're eating it up like never seen before. And you should too.
Yeah, so go show us some love. Click the subscribe button. It would help us out tremendously. And again, to reiterate the point we've made a bunch, we built this channel to give you guys something that's more of a true podcast format so that you can share with people, kind of like how Pokemon did. If you truly want to grow an IP, you've got to give every level of interest their way into the ecosystem. Right. So this is for people who like podcasts but aren't going to listen to the live streams. It's very easy to share a topic specific episode that they may enjoy. So definitely go ahead and do that. And please click the subscribe button over there. Us getting to 1,000 subscribers will be tremendously helpful. We've already had 2 people go through and do that. So thank you so much.
Huge, huge, huge thanks for it. I'll give you so many pieces of my appreciation if you hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's most of the topic as far as the tokenization thing goes.
Where should people do their own research to gain a deeper understanding of where they can get a few steps ahead of this to benefit themselves?
Honestly, go to the DTCC's website, because they're continuously talking about what they're doing. And if you're reading what they're saying, you're ahead of announcements like today.
None of these things, they don't hide things. It's just boring, so people don't read it.
100%. 100%. They've got an entire section of their website that's just dedicated to their tokenization stuff. Let me pull it up real quick. So yeah, tokenizing real world assets, advancing tokenization at institutional scale. It's a whole page. And you can go through here, read all of this stuff. Look, they talked about the app chain before, right? This has been sitting there. They were talking about these are the things that they're doing: DTCC's app chain and Canton. Okay, so that's where I got the information about the Hyperledger Bisu, right? Hey, yo. Yeah, so check it out. I mean, there's gold on here for sure.
Totally. And Brand's got a good point too, where they said copy and paste it into chat to summarize it.
Yeah.
Dude, do that so much more. Like, go find the most boring, dry shit and then get it to summarize it. Because if you just ask the question, I've noticed that it usually dumbs things down because it's usually servicing a general audience, right? So like they don't want to overwhelm you. And so it makes sense that you would want to take right from the source and then be like, talk to me like however you want to be spoken to.
Yes. I take psychology research and I just copy and paste it in there and get the insights.
Totally. It can be very valuable.
Super.
And you guys want to like speed run your way to comprehension is go through, bring all the white papers for all the projects you're interested in and get it to summarize those. I'd recommend reading more of them because they're usually not that long. But if you need help with specific words, that can be very helpful. Because oftentimes people will get, I've seen this so frequently where they'll be reading something and as soon as they get to a word they don't understand, they're like, oh, it's not for me. Subconsciously. And then they move on. Whereas if you just train yourself to be the person who's like, okay, cool, I'm going to get excited by the opportunity to learn a new word, either ask chat for a long explanation or go to Google and ask for a definition. And then you can continue forward.
100%. 100%. I love that. You know? Yeah, folks, there's so much alpha out there. I remember 2019-ish having a conversation with my friend about how like these institutions, like they tell you what's good. They give you the info. They give you the lowdown. And now you've got tools to receive the lowdown and ask chat, like, what's the lowdown?
That's what will bring retail back.
What
is the fact that they can go have a tutor whenever they want.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be very nice, especially for people who care, you know, or like, I'm trying to figure this out for real, for real. Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of people do care. It's just the access to the information has been really difficult. There hasn't been many places like this where they could come and casually learn. And then they haven't had access to a personal assistant who could expedite the path towards comprehension. That would have cost a shitload of money.
That's true. You're gonna pay me big bucks for that, you know, as an example.
Huge.
But yeah, so what do you think?
Move on to the second half?
Is it time for the second half?
I think we should move on to the second half.
Oh my. It's one of my favorite parts of the day. We got some news coming up, folks. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Time for some news. First thing that we have on the docket is an announcement from OpenAI introducing Daybreak, frontier AI for cyber defenders. Daybreak brings together the most capable AI models, codecs, and and our security partners to accelerate cyber defense and continuously secure software. A step toward a future where security teams can move at the speed of defense demands. Okay. So this has been a part of a major discussion that has been taking place over the past couple of years as AI has gotten better and better, which is that, well, if AI can be used to crack and hack, then you're going to have some AI that's used to defend. And so clearly OpenAI is taking some moves in that direction to make sure that that occurs. I've talked about on my channel a lot about how the World Economic Forum has even run a bunch of scenarios around the cyber event, major cyber hacks. And I mean, AI makes it to where like we're probably going to see this happen. Every week or so, I'm seeing a headline about how some like 0-day exploit was found in something that really matters, you know, like Google or something. And like, bro, if Google just like got hacked and everything got deleted, like what would happen
to the world?
Like, bro, stuff would be screwed.
We have way too much of a reliance on them as a platform.
For sure, man.
When they got everyone to like when they won email with Gmail, oh, they won.
Dude, I would have loved to have been a part of that era of Google, of like, this is not a search engine. This is like the platform for the entire internet, you know, or like, this isn't a website, you know, because at some point it was just google.com.
Yeah.
You know, like what were the decisions? How were they coming to those decisions to do Gmail? But that changed everything.
Yeah. Because then they also like cooked all the other things that people used to use in connection to it, right? And now with your ability to build in new things, like, man, you can take on like anyone. Like they can just spin up a new competing product so fast. And then since you already have the existing users there, like where Microsoft Word used to be a massive thing, and then they just built what's it called now? Google
Docs.
Google Docs, yeah.
Or the Google Office, I guess, the Google Suite. Yeah, right? Just like that. And like the decision to offer all of that for free, like that's the part about a Google and a YouTube that I think is like really interesting.
That's the scariest part.
It's like, how did you come to the idea that it was worth doing that?
Because you create the expectation that the best software in the world should be free, so then no one can compete with you. Because that's not possible. I deal with it every day, right? People are like yelling, be like, this should be free. It's like, why? Because they go to YouTube and Google and it's free.
Right.
But they don't realize that they were selling them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I was watching something. And yikes, I don't know what it was, but it was talking about how like capitalism has gotten to the point to where there's no new things really being added. Instead, what's really happening is the extraction from everyone. in the form of like I can't remember what the actual context was or what I was listening to, but he was basically saying basically we're kind of just like in a bowl
Hmm.
where the next innovation is just something that's getting you to spend your money on something that they've like convinced you that you need or that's helpful to you. Now, obviously not everything is like that, but at the highest levels, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube are these platforms where your mind is just being changed, to buy something that you might not otherwise need.
Yeah, and it's only gonna get worse on these social platforms
Why do you say that?
with AI.
Mm,
We talked about this a bunch. Like capturing and keeping someone's attention is a skill. It is 100% a skill. Like so oftentimes I'll be like, if someone makes this video, it'll pop off, and then I'll see it a week later where someone who could made that video did it. Right? With AI, I can just make that video. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's already become where basically everyone's trying to sell you something 24/7, which is why I don't really watch anything besides long form content. YouTube's still pretty freaking awesome, especially if you find the right people.
For sure.
Like especially in terms of like amount of like so if you have YouTube Premium, let's say, I always find it so funny when people complain about like 2 or 3 ad inserts in like an hour long. Like it's like they're like, you're a sellout. It's like I'm doing so much shit that I'm not getting paid for. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always found that very funny. But it's because they're used to everything being free.
Yeah. Yeah. Ondo P. So, yeah, I don't even know how we got there, but
Talking about Jang. Yeah, but Jang just put out a new video. I have not watched it yet.
Jang, I've totally fallen off.
Bro, he's making his rounds. He went on Diary of a CEO.
I did see that.
That's a top signal for sure.
It's the end of Jang. Okay, so the next piece is apparently the UAE is about to allow residents to pay government fees with crypto. What do you think of that?
Interesting. Government fees. What are for like what? Like services and stuff?
I guess, or taxes maybe. I don't know.
No, they don't have taxes.
Oh, they got some sort of taxes.
Yeah, I think they raised even the corporate tax up to something like 9% now.
Yeah, they got a little something. So I saw that, and then Sharp Asipa also gave us this one. Just in, North Korea updates constitution to automatically launch a nuclear strike if Kim Jong-un is assassinated. Now, I need to double, triple check on this, but that's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild, man. Like, first off, who is it going to go at? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, he gets assassinated. Where is this nuke going, bro?
I don't know.
Is that in the policy, bro? Like, is it
It's
just like a
story.
predetermined target? Like, if Kim Jong-un gets assassinated, nuke goes straight to New York.
North Korea is such a fascinating thing. Like I've tried to research it as much as I can. So fascinating. That's also how I found one of my favorite YouTubers. Mike OK is his name, where he went to North Korea.
Yeah.
During that brief period of time when they allowed him to like allow people to go in there.
That's crazy, bro. I don't even think about that. There's not many places in the world where you just like can't go.
Wouldn't it be like almost just them? What else is there?
That's the only thing I can think of, which is crazy to think about.
Are there parts of China where you can't go?
I mean, there's definitely parts of places that you can't go.
Yeah.
In the world, but like a whole country, bro, that you just can't go to.
Can't get into.
That's wild, man.
Truly mental. And they on Bankless the other day, they had on a guy who basically covers the cyber crime that North Korea commits because they don't have a normal economy, right? And they've been blacklisted for so much trade that they train kids to become hackers.
Wow.
And they commit some of the world's largest crypto crime.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm still laughing about that stuff, man. I'm like, bro, Where is that dude going, bro? So next piece that we have for today is Kevin Warsh making his way through. So the U.S. Senate has advanced Kevin Warsh to become President Trump's chairman of the Federal Reserve as of this morning or yesterday.
On this vote, the yeas are 49, the nays are 44, and the motion is agreed to. The clerk will report the nomination.
Federal Reserve System, Kevin Warsh of Florida, to be a member of the Board of Governors.
Okay, interesting. I don't know what that's from per se, because that's the member of the Board of Governors for one that they just said out loud. So I know that today there's supposed to be the actual Senate confirmation. But anyways, I guess he's moving forward in the process. He definitely will. Breaking, eBay has rejected GameStop's $56 billion acquisition offer and called it neither credible nor attractive. What do you think of that, Ben?
I don't think that even he thought it would go through now. I think it was a rallying cry to get the troops back up and excited.
Right.
So I think it perfectly achieved his desired purpose. If you're a meme stock, you got to be in the headlines.
That's true. This guy said maybe they just didn't understand the offer. Let me know. That's pretty good. So yeah, what you said there makes sense. The Pentagon apparently has made an announcement that the special military operation in Iran has cost $29 billion so far.
No way.
This dude said you could simply write 29 billion. You know, like, come on, bro. Some people think it's a little bit bigger than that. And yeah, I think that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing people say stuff like that for quite some time. You know, it's been around like $20 billion since the beginning of the war. And at the end of the day, I don't know. It's kind of hard to even try to think about how much money that really is. Like,
what do you mean by that?
Like $29 billion to fight a war? Like, is that a lot of money to fight a war? I don't know.
Yeah. How would we know?
I don't know, dude. I have no idea. It sounds like a lot of money, you know what I mean? But then again, like when you're talking about life and death, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't quantify $29 billion.
Totally. Yeah. And also with a lot of these contractors, like there's a lot of circular economies going on, you know what I mean, in terms of deciding price and stuff like that. So
true.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, it's like defense money isn't real money in a way. It's like it's literally just money that gets, you know, printed and handed to these defense companies.
Well, all money is kind of like that.
Like, yeah, it's true. That's true.
Like money is horse shit.
Yeah. So interesting one there. Let's see. We also have interesting. Some information from Charles responding to some information about, I believe, the Clarity Act update. But first, let me look at the actual update. Just in, Tap Tools says, the new U.S. crypto market structure bill does not classify decentralized network tokens as securities under federal securities laws. The framework heavily favors decentralized governance, open source infrastructure, non-custodial staking, distributed validator participation. Cardano checks every box. And then that angry crypto profile picture always gets me. I'm like, well, why are you upset, bro? It's a good thing. And Charles said, massive improvement and good leadership from Senator Tim Scott and the many others pushing to improve the bill, says Mr. Charles.
And Charles on our show has openly talked out against a lot of this stuff. So it's good to see him a little happier. We just posted a clip on our crypto channel where he's covering that very subject. And that got clipped up like crazy across Twitter.
Yes. Yeah. People were going crazy. And then he ended up doing a whole response video. And then that got clipped up. And so we're a part of the culture, man.
but no one knew
Yeah,
because people stole our shit.
No, facts.
That on Twitter. Sorry, go ahead. We'll talk about it later.
No, you go ahead.
It seems like they're trying to fight a lot of these things that are an issue within Twitter. I was talking about you this morning, or talking with you this morning, where so to get monetized on Twitter, you need a certain amount of verified followers and then a certain amount of impressions. But if impressions is the metric to get monetized, that is such a bad primary incentive structure. Because if you're just trying to get shared like crazy, you'll just say horse shit. Right? Like that,
Yes.
like how is when we're putting out like an hour podcast that is edited, cut down, etc., right? How is that not worth inordinately more than someone rage baiting or bullshitting?
Yes.
But it's not, right? Like
Right.
when you look at the incentive structure, it makes sense why that's a cesspool.
100%. People have definitely started openly complaining about this at this point because they're like, we're doing all these things, jumping all these hoops because they're also like changing how things work and how it gets monetized. And people are like, bro, like freaking impressions is your North Star on your platform? Definitely not the best for quality.
No, 100%. And I'm curious to see how they handle that. Like there's clipping is such a big thing right now where people are talking about that. But that's also creates a massive problem because when you allow clipping the way that it's done, clippers will just only clip famous people. Because why would I waste my time cutting someone who's smaller, right? And then that also creates, because like the person would say, oh, why don't you just pay them? It's like, I can't compete with Mr. Beast, right? So if this person can just go make a clipping channel, which is an aggregator of the most famous people, then that just gets spread more and more and more and more. So I would not be shocked if they try to really hammer down on how clipping functions, because it's kind of bullshit. It's like everything just rises to the top.
Interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Nikita's talking about this stuff all the time.
Word.
On Twitter.
Yep. So now I've got some memes and some things to react to.
Hit me with the memes.
Let's get it. So starting off, Trump is also technically doing a trip to China this week, I believe.
China.
And here's a list of some of the executives that are joining President Trump in this trip. We've got someone from Citi, Apple, Elon Musk is there, Cargill, BlackRock, Larry Fink, Boeing, Visa, Cisco, Illumina, Coherent, Micron, Qualcomm, Mastercard, Meta, Goldman Sachs, GE Aerospace, and Blackstone. Steven Schwarzman, man, that guy's getting up there. He's still running that thing. That's crazy. How old is Steven Schwarzman? Steven Schwarzman is now 79. $40 billion net worth. My goodness. What a massive. It's been so weird to watch people's net worth like just explode over the past 6 years. Oh.
Your camera's cut. Yeah, I didn't want to cut you off. Oh. China. So our newest watermark is fairly large. So when that all happened, I don't even think we had one, or if we did, it was very small. And so people took our clips and then added their own watermark, which was loads of fun.
That's crazy, bro.
And as for the mug, we'll be releasing our merch store in the coming months. So mugs will definitely be a part of the equation.
Yeah, I'd say summer 2026. Summer 2026.
Sounds appropriate.
It's been wild watching people's net worths just explode ever since 2020, really. It's kind of when it happened. You had massive money printing at the time. You also had people that were just in the digital space, anything digital, right? Exploded during that time. And even medical as well. Watch one of the richest people in my state, his net worth like quadruple.
The medical system is crazy. And like when you see people breaking down the structure of their bills that they get after doing some sort of medical thing, and just seeing these fees and then going back and forth and like fighting the fees, it's crazy.
Yeah, that stuff's wild. I talked about this in the personal finance side of the course that we're about to drop for free out there, and how like technically there's ways where if you don't have insurance, like your bill is like 10% of what it would normally be.
Seriously.
And it's like, whoa, that's kind of crazy stuff. But, you know, obviously just things that you got to be aware of out here in the world. But point was, yeah, so like just imagine you're a multi-billionaire. You're worth like 4 billion, like 5 billion, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're worth 30 billion in a couple of years.
Would they feel that change?
I think you would, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I've never really thought about being that rich.
like, bro, 4 billion is like, I can mess around. 30 billion, bro, I can do whatever I want. At 4 billion, like there's things you can't do, bro. Like if you want to buy like a massive property or a bunch of land, like you could do that and that'd be about maybe 5 to 10% of your net worth and it not be anything that crazy, you know, and be able to build like a proper compound. Nobody can touch your family. Everybody's good. But like at 30 billion, bro, you could have everything. You could have all the toys, all the houses, all the yachts. You know what I mean? Clearly,
Yeah.
I have thought about this, Ben.
Yeah. I just want to buy the Jaguars. That's all that I want to buy.
See, you could buy the Jaguars and it not even be a risk to you at that point.
Totally. Yeah. The market value for them is probably like now like 7-8 billion. So yeah, you'd be chill.
Yeah, bro. Like you'd be like, dude, I'm chilling. So I think that's crazy to think if freaking 30 or like a 5x on your net worth from in that time frame.
It's cheap. 5.6 billion.
There you go, dude.
Pocket change.
And at 4 billion, that's everything you got, you know? Think about that.
Thomas says, yeah, I noticed the difference for sure. When you went from a few billion to a bunch more. Thomas, spread the wealth, man. Share
it. That's hilarious.
That is crazy to think about. 3% interest on 4 million is 40K. 3% interest on 4 billion is 400 million. Is that right?
I mean, it's a weird 1%, right? 1% is what you mean. But yeah, but same thing, right? Like 400 million at 1%, bro. Or even, excuse me, that's 10%.
Yeah, that's Buddy's point, right? Is like the compounding nature of wealth when it gets to levels of that high, it's just so unsustainable.
Yeah. I don't know where you got those numbers, but the point here stands absolutely. 1% interest on 4 million would be 40K.
Yeah.
1% interest on 4 billion would be 40 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think nuts. They just hit the wrong number.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah. That's actually crazy.
Because you're also not earning 1%. You know what I mean? Like you're earning 10% on your 4 billion. So you are earning that 400 million that you put, you know, to be clear. And so just imagine that, right? Like that's the thing. Okay. So at 4.5 billion, if I wanted to just take all the risk off the table, if I make 10% a year, I'm at 400 million, bro, I'm good, right? At 30 billion, I don't have to take all my risk off the table, first off, but I can still get that free 400 million by taking 5 billion and putting it into the Jaguars or whatever. You know, I guess, you know, when is enough, but you know, all I'm saying is at that rate, you could take 10 billion, you're making 10% a year, which is $1 billion a year, and you can every year just spend that money or just give that money.
I hope more people start to do that.
You know, because it's free money. You know what I mean? Like I could just give it away.
Yeah, if you're that rich, bro.
It's coming in no matter what I do.
Yeah, it's absurd.
So anyways, all right.
Keith's planning his yachts.
Look, man, you know, like you can turn your whole life into a charity at that point. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a cool concept. Okay, so the next one. What in the world? Why am I having issues? So another thing that happened over the past week here, I know you all have heard about it. The Swatch by AP Royal Pop
This was
collaboration.
all over Twitter. If y'all don't watch or y'all don't spend time on Twitter, you may have missed this, but this was everywhere there.
It's been going stupid. Okay, so for people who aren't aware, Audemars Piguet is a watch brand.
Say that again.
Audemars Piguet.
Wow, this guy's
I had to look
cultured.
it up. Yeah, I had to look it up because I was like, I can't be talking about this and not say it properly. They're a luxury watch brand out of Switzerland, and they put out watches that sell from the
Crazy
manufacturer
amounts.
at like 10,000 minimum.
Mm.
Okay, you're really more like 25, 50, hundreds of thousands, limited editions in the millions of dollars.
And culturally, they're usually referred to as an AP. You've probably heard that before.
The AP. Okay. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. And so apparently they're doing this collaboration with a company called Swatch, also a Swiss manufacturer, but a much more retail level manufacturer.
Yeah, a few $100.
A few $100 here and there, your Timex, your like, normal people stuff.
Mm.
And they're about to collab to drop a $350, $500 AP mini, kind of thing. And people have lost their minds about this. They're like, bro, I paid $100,000. Okay, so the other side of this is that there's a secondary market for these kinds of pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you might have it sell from the manufacturer at like 50 grand, but they're trading on the secondary markets for like $200,000 to $400,000. And so you've got these rappers and these people who are bragging about buying these watches on the secondary market because they're able to.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got somebody that's just going to drop a $500 watch. So I have some clips from people that were talking about this. They had some choice words. So we'll see how we wanted to play it. But Aiden Ross was one of them who had some words about this. Let's see what he had to say real quick.
Is AP really doing this? Dude, you're lying, right? Are they actually doing this? Oh, they killed it. It's over. Yeah, AP, yeah, it's over. Oh, yeah, it's over. Well, I'm glad I sold all my pieces. I'm not even joking. It's over.
But
And then
there,
you had Didi. Go ahead. Go ahead.
that also like proves the point that I've said about watches so many times, where they only care about it because it's super expensive.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, and you'll never hear me, Ben, trying to defend watches. All right, let's just be
Just
super
cars and
hyper
stuff
clear.
and yachts.
Only, I wouldn't defend a yacht. I think that's like, you know what you're doing there.
Yeah,
That's also something that's like massive devalue. Like, that's just a complete sink. You've got something going on internally, that you've got to figure out. If you're getting a big yacht, at least. And but yeah, so anyway, so DDG, a famous rapper who also streams quite a bit. He's smart for having done that. I do think he's really smart for having created that as a part of his thing. He had some words about this as well, and I thought this was pretty funny. And Ben, it 100% talks to the things that you've been saying.
Still, like, just seeing this make me want to sell my AP. AP, what's up, man? What's going on? I done spent $200,000 on one of y'all watches. You telling me I could have waited to 2026 and spent $300 and got the same effect? The hoes can't tell the difference. They don't know what the fuck if this a skeleton. I tell a girl, hey, this black ceramic AP limited edition, 300,000. You feel me? Come on, bro. That shit ain't right, bro. There's niggas out here that really pay resale. I could see if I was getting my watches for fucking retail. I'm paying resale prices, nigga. I'm getting hit on the head for an extra 20,000 to rock y'all watch, or extra fucking 100,000, nigga. The AP skeleton, that shit retail like 80 bands or some shit. 100 bands, something close to that. I don't know. Nigga, I paid 200,000 for it. I come on this bitch, I selling this shit for 500, nigga. What? I'm pissed. As a customer, I'm pissed. Y'all gonna make $1 billion off this shit. I get it.
But
I already know.
If he spent 200 grand, that'd have to be aftermarket, no? Or
Yes, for sure. That's what he's saying.
So is he even a customer then?
That's what everyone was saying. Like, bro, you're not even a customer. And they don't care what you have to say.
That's wild, dude.
But yeah, that's absolutely hilarious cultural moment right there. Yeah.
Watches were really like a big thing over the last, like, I don't know, I feel like maybe forever, but I don't think the next generation will care that much.
Yeah, I wonder when you could see like a, an inflection point in the watch.
The only guys that really care about watches in my life are the guys that did well, like financially.
Yeah, finance bros,
Yes.
and they're just kids, you know.
And they always like, and one comment that I saw in here was really funny was that whenever there's a guy with a Rolex, they always find another guy with a Rolex. And then they're like, the networking opportunities are crazy. And I'm like, bro, sure.
That's hilarious, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, man. Everybody's got their things that they're into. I was watching Jeremy Haynes, is this big, like, popular internet marketer guy. And he told the story. I've told this on this pod before, but like how he was at a mall in Miami and like at the store. And these guys were in line with him and they all just started talking to each other because they all had on like nice watches, like big time watches. And he was like, yeah, man, like, it's networking, bro. Like, why else would I talk to that guy, unless he had on a watch? And I'm just like, there's something about that I don't think I like.
Yeah. I have one buddy who wears like ultra high-end designer stuff. And whenever people come up to him that know what it is, they almost always suck.
Bro, Hundo P, man, it's just like, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing that you're attracting,
I think it's pretty low vibration.
I think that's fair. Jeremy Haynes has a very interesting take. I love listening to him chat about it because he's got his extreme take. He's like, I don't want anything to be bigger than me. Right. So that's why he's motivated to like buy these things. That's what he says. It's like, a watch is bigger than you. A car is bigger than you. Like, bro, get your money up. That's like kind of how his shtick.
So his thing is that he should be able to afford whatever he wants. It to be no big deal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. I don't know. I think that if you care for material possessions that much, like they'll never stop.
I mean, because like these brands exist for that.
Yeah. For the consumption, right?
Yeah.
And you could argue that this is also a philosophy thing too, in terms of what is value, right? Because there's so many different varying opinions on here. But yeah, I don't know. Like that's never been me, like the brand stuff. I've just never really gravitated towards it. I'm a big get it from China or like Amazon kind of deal.
Yeah. It's so fascinating. I love that conversation because I think it really it's about your values. Like, what do you really value? What do you value?
Mm-hmm.
Because money is your time. It's your health.
It's time. But then the thing that we're talking about here is that you reach a point where it just stops being that, right? We become so rich, like that whole concept goes out the door.
True. And so then to me, it always comes back down to the empathy of like, what about everyone else's time? Like a lot of other people are just like born into slavery. So what about them?
What do you mean?
My Andrew Carnegie style level of philosophy is like, bro, you were born in a place that allowed you to do whatever you did. How can you make sure that other people who were born where you were born or anywhere else also get the same chance? Because like, bro, not everyone gets the same chance.
No, so often, like what Charles said, like so many people will raise the ladder up after they've climbed up.
Yes. And so if you are at that point, Ben, where it's like literally doesn't matter, then why wouldn't you just use some of that money to help other people too?
Do you think it's an ego thing?
I don't know what it is. I can't really fathom.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And most of these people who are at that level of wealthy, you can't really talk to them in any real way.
Facts.
Right? So it'd be difficult. I really hope that we eventually grow this thing to a bigger place where I can like try to talk to some of these people and be like, what makes you tick? You know what I mean? Because I love reading people so much. And so, but you have to be able to do it where they're not playing a character. So it'll be very interesting to see what materializes there. But Jerry said, cool guitars over watches. I don't like guitars, but I agree with the sentiment of the comment because I think the guitar allows you to create something, right? And so I guess you could also say, like, do you need Jimi Hendrix's guitar, right? So it's all silly. Like buying things in general is kind of a silly thing. I get it. Like, and we all have our own different things. Like there's things that I spent money on that are so dumb. It's just pick your flavor.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting comparison. There's craftsmanship, there's sound, that you actually do get from a guitar. It's unique and different and something that can touch your soul or someone else's. But I guess you could say that about all art, all design. And watch, it touches my soul.
Maybe. Sharp spends money on mugs. As long as it's memes and markets mug, that's a high ROI investment.
Most certainly. So yeah, we could talk about that forever because these are good. But I saw a couple of sort of meme style things. You sent me one earlier too. But up next, the Richard Mille by Fisher Price collaboration.
that goes kind of hard, man.
And then this guy said, "Oh wait, you can't tell this apart from the real Richard Mille because they do kind of look like that."
A lot of the really expensive watches and cars, I don't like how they look whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's super fair. So all kinds of crazy memes and stuff around all this. This guy said, "I'm gonna buy one of these just to go up to guys with real APs and say stuff like, 'Hey, sick Royal Oak, man. I have one too. Check it out.'"
I have this G-Shock that looks like an AP, and I have my one buddy who like really likes watches, and a few times when we've been out, like I've gotten a compliment on my like $200 G-Shock because they thought it was an AP, and like they didn't notice his Rolex, and he was all pissed.
That's funny, man. And that's another thing, right? Like, bro, men are the ones who know what that stuff is, But anyways, and or women who have studied.
Yeah, and is that
for the wrong reasons?
Yeah.
This guy said, "Nobody's ready for the bust down Swatch AP." That term, means icing out or putting the diamonds all over your watch.
Got it. Yeah, I used to see that a lot. Oh, my thing went. Sorry if I'm cutting you off. I used to see that a lot in the football world. Oh no, did we lose Keith? Keith is frozen. Hopefully he comes back to us. But I was going to say that I've seen a lot of athletes do that a lot. Oh, well, there's two of you, bro.
Oh no. I only see one of me.
Do you see the other one too, or is that just me? I see two Keiths too. It's awesome.
That is scary.
That's elite. Yeah, I'm in a Keith sandwich right now.
Yeah, my Chrome just crashed on me.
Oh, you're good. Now the other one's gone. Oh, thank you.
Oh, nice. Let me get back to where I was at.
Dead cat Keith. I love how that's become a recurring meme.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to What a Sale.
Yeah, for real.
For keeping it alive. And then let me see real quick. Okay, so another thing that happened over this past week was this lady speaking at a graduation. And she ended up getting some responses from her speech that she wasn't ready for. Let's talk about it real quick.
The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution.
AI sucks.
I struck a chord. May I finish? Only a few years ago, AI was not a factor in our lives. All right.
We've
So,
talked a lot about this behind the scenes, though. Like, it's such a difficult thing because I understand everyone's perspectives. Like, I understand why the kids would be against that. But if you really think about like why a lot of, I guess the kids is not the best example because it's eliminating the opportunity that they would have to come in and prove themselves. But for like anything beyond that, most of the people that are really scared or angry, it's because they have a job they don't really want and they don't try that hard in many cases.
Mm.
Right. So like we still have to take care of those people. Like everyone should have to be able, like they should be thought about. But like most people that hate AI the most don't really like what they do very much, or they don't do very much.
fair.
And yeah, that's true. Good point here. They probably use it every day
Yeah.
to
there are
cheat. Yeah.
people-
Like
yeah.
my sister, like when she was in school, man, I'm like, she did less than nothing because AI was doing all the work. And it was at that weird time period where they didn't really like fully
Mm,
grasp how good it was. So they didn't have the
Mm.
rules in place because they're so slow to move.
right. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on everything?
Well, I mean, I saw a lot of the rhetoric in response to this video, and I mean, it's just obvious that you just got people who are also not thinking about the impact, right, that these people are feeling.
What do you mean?
This, I think, encapsulates it to some degree. It's a little bit further than what I would say, but Is This Real Art said, it gets worse when you find out she said this to arts and humanities graduates who are about to enter the workspace while it's facing higher rates of unemployment due to corporate greed using AI to replace them. Incredibly insensitive and out of touch as a graduation speech. I think that's the part that I'm really touching on.
Got it. Like, read the
It's-
room.
Yeah, just like, and like, what did you, I mean, look, if I'm there, I'm not saying I'm going to do it any differently. You know what I mean? Like, this is what's happening. You don't have to like it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you probably should lean in instead
think-
of being upset.
You probably should have got them excited and then hit them with that later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely should be like the very end.
Yeah. Be like, I know we don't like AI, but when there's points of technological revolution, those that adopt, they prosper. Those
Yeah.
that don't get left behind, right? Because you can look at this any which way that you want, right? Like I understand why people are mad that it's removing a lot of jobs, but it's also empowering a lot of people who have never been able to touch these things before.
Mhm.
So it'll be super interesting to see. But I get why
also-
creatives are the most pissed about it.
And I also feel like kids AI hasn't really like taken over jobs yet, but there's still a crunch for getting a job for the past few years. I mean, my graduating class, bro, I won't say that there's still people struggling, but like they were getting laid off like once a year.
It's super hard, but a lot of people aren't willing to do the things that work every time. Like if you make content about you teaching yourself how to do something and you do it for free, you will either create a business or get a job. So you can be mad about the fact that you have to do that, sure, but it works. I've literally never seen someone actively do that hasn't made money.
Mm,
So like, yes, the criteria of what the minimum has changed,
mhm.
but it still works.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have to be an entrepreneur either. Like, you could work for an entrepreneur. Like if people do that, we've hired people like that. Other entrepreneurs hire people like that all the time. Yeah, actually, this is a good point too. I feel like people will try to destroy data centers.
I think so too, man. They've got to get some public, relations going on. They need Edward Bernays.
They do. I don't know if you could salvage that unless if you figure out a way to basically tell people they won't be worried, like screwed financially, then you probably could.
Yeah,
'Cause
but you'd
like,
have to give them some real evidence,
Well, these people, yeah, totally. But these people who are saying like, "Oh, I hate AI and AI can't like do this, do that, whatever," are they really mad because of the love of the art, or are they mad that what they did can no longer make them money.
Right. I think it's that one. Most of the time. Some people probably are actually upset about the art.
Yeah. I'd say that's a very small minority.
Yeah.
But what do I know? Let me know in the comments.
What did I miss? What did I get wrong? Or how could I be looking at this differently?
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments down below.
Have you listened to any AI music, Keith?
I've made some.
You've made some.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a sin in the music world?
Well, after listening to Diplo, I had to just bite the bullet.
Thank you. Diplo? Oh yeah, Diplo. Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, that clip legitimately just made me think, like, well, what am I? Like, I'm not even that good. I'm not Diplo's level of talented. So why wouldn't I at least start to use this stuff or know how to use it? I still also know how to make music from scratch, so nobody will ever be able to take that away.
Mm.
So yeah,
I do think that a lot of people that are really music purists will gravitate towards the relationship they have to the person making it, the story behind it, and all that stuff. And I think that's where new platforms can be built that really amplify that. Because right now, music is something that should be personal, and it feels very transactional in its current delivery mechanism. Like there's just so much excess and so much like listen to it now and I don't listen to it again tomorrow, where I feel like some of the best songs are stuff that you listen to again and again and again and again, and people don't really have to do that anymore.
right. And like, for instance, when I made the AI song, like, it's really wild what this stuff is capable of. But like, all the lyrics are mine. Like, I still wrote it, you know,
Cool.
the lyric side of it and the chord progressions technically and all of it, you know.
Can we hear it?
It's possible. It is physically possible. Yeah.
But I mean, like, can you play it right now?
In fact, it exists in several formats on in my content. How
long did you make this?
This was probably like a month ago.
Interesting.
I'd be willing to share it. I just don't even actually know how to be honest. It's actually very freaking interesting what it was capable of. I would love to play it for you guys. Let me see if I can find it.
This is the song?
Yeah. Because the thing is, it's just like, I'd have to like upload it somewhere or something. Right?
Yeah, Keith,
I guess
what is your artist's name?
Well, geez, I guess there's the fact that I am KD Beats was my my name back in the day. My producer name.
Did you have one of those like producer tags?
Yeah, man.
Tight.
I learned how to make it and everything.
Bro, that's awesome.
I was like, yeah, dude. I love sound design and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun, man. Let me upload this and then I'll play it later. But oh, that's another way I can do it. Okay. All right. I think I figured this out. Y'all ready for this?
I was born ready.
All right. So this is a song that I wrote, sung, before, and then I gave it to AI and it made this. So I'm not gonna play the whole thing. It's not even a whole thing, but the lyrics are a little bit off because I didn't like edit them. So it's saying things that don't make sense, but you can kind of get the idea of what it was. Let me know if you can hear this.
Yeah. Give him my heart and my soul. That shit took a toll.
This goes hard.
We never would fall. Had to make it happen. Now I'm back on the road. And he came for the show and the love. You niggas ain't really they souls. They ain't see the vision. Give him my heart and my soul. Always on go. Niggas get mad, they ain't know. We gon' make it happen. 100 bands for the flow. Now they begging me for more. The leather jacket on my toe. Give him my all.
Hit him with it.
So there's the AI version of it. Thanks, man.
I think that went hard.
I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed my version of it and I enjoyed that version even more. So
It's a very fair point. Brand said, "Do any lyrics make any sense nowadays?" Brand, I hear you.
That's hilarious. Totally fair. All right. So this one from Demetria said, I don't think enough people realize we're about 5 years out from people going to rehab for phones. I was like, we might be there already.
Mm. Yeah.
That's interesting one.
Well, gambling addiction. It's more or less.
Facts. So totally. All right, now for the pure jokes. Asipa found this one. This one is interesting. Kira, a woman loses 10 years of memories after she pooped with excessive force. Kira said, imagine itching this good. All right.
The replies have got to be good.
That's true, right? How does she remember that it happened while pooping? Maybe she didn't. What type of fiber causes this?
Some Metamucil, buddy.
Oh my goodness. And then all right. And then the next one that I saw here, realizing I got a much higher education than my parents, but they bought a house at my age, and I bought this melon on sale.
Yeah, that's a recurring theme.
Yes, this is happening left and right on the internet at the moment. And then Sudox, baristas taking coding courses so they can become developers. Developers dreaming of opening cafes and becoming baristas. I thought that was pretty solid. Definitely a little bit of a thing of like the successful tech entrepreneur, wanting to start his own coffee or whatever. She dropped the brain. Next one. Growing up, there was a Cody in every elementary school class, but as an adult, I haven't met a Cody in years. Where did they go?
One of my best friends is named Cody.
Okay, word. Because, dude, I don't know any Codys anymore.
I know, yeah, he'd be the only one that I know of.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
But he's cool.
But I'm glad that you can verify that there are Codys.
There are Codys, and he is in fact an adult.
And then I saw this one. This one was pretty interesting. This guy says, words to live by. Be kind to everyone. You never know whose dad owns a $100 million ARR B2B SaaS company. Kind of brings you back to the watch conversation,
Totally. Yeah. Twitter feels a lot like that.
100%. I like this one a lot. Jin Tao said, guy who announces publicly they're buying privacy coins.
That's huge right now.
It is.
I really want to have someone on to talk Zcash some more.
Yes. We need a Zeke.
If you're watching the replay of this, like who are the creators of the names within that space? We think we found someone for Tao, so we're gonna reach out to them.
Yep. Totally. And then let's see. This one is bro saw the error in his ways. So he started off as an equity research summer intern at Morgan Stanley, went to JPMorgan, made it to Morgan Stanley again as a full-time associate, 6-7 years off, and became Catholic priest.
Wow.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. That's awesome.
That's super good.
So, all right. That was the memes for the day. Only thing we've got left is talking a little bit of community. We had quite a few things happen in the community over the past 72 hours, or at least one major thing worth commenting on for sure.
What's that?
Well, we had last week on Thursday an incredible guest named Stephen Greenstreet, and he had some words that ruffled some feathers. in the UFO sphere.
Bro, people do not like him in the UFO world, bro.
And, you know, I guess it would be reasonable to expect that if, you know,
Of course,
debunking the
one
thing,
side or the other. Yeah, totally.
staked so much on. And so on Twitter, we posted the full episode. It's actually gotten quite a few views here.
Mhm.
And people were responding. Joe says he's a clown. Nice job. And then Tucker Jackson said, I'm sorry, but interoperator, this guy telling you everything about the UFO subject has no idea what he's talking about. He said false things and it's not anywhere near the truth, or at least he isn't telling you facts and information for you to determine truth from. And he and Tucker actually ended up having a little bit of an exchange. Let me find it real quick. Shout out to Stephen for interacting and engaging as well.
Did he go back and forth with them?
Yes. So let's try to find. Oh man, where'd it go?
No, he's got some fans too, RD. He's got people that like him, and he's got some people that don't.
Yeah, 100%. Why?
I just meant like the people that don't like him are very passionate, is what I was trying to say.
Right. So Tucker Jackson was like, I'm only a few minutes in and overheard multiple false statements by the guy in the white shirt. And Stephen came through and he was like, what's one specific example of a false statement? Thanks. And then Tucker's like, that there's no evidence of any UFO craft from Roswell. And he's like, there is indeed evidence a craft came down in Roswell. That evidence includes official documents describing foil, balsa wood, tape, and rubber bands. This was ultimately a test balloon from Project Mogul. There's no evidence, however, of a crashed alien UFO at Roswell. Dude said, yes, there is. That's how I know you didn't go very deep. Even everything else, you're missing a lot and are talking at surface levels about these things don't get sorted out there. But these things don't get sorted out there. And then he says, provide one piece of evidence that an alien UFO crashed at Roswell. Thanks. By the way, if you actually do that, you'll forever change the world. Dude said, no, you wouldn't change the world, LOL. There's already proof, and yet look where we are. What is NHI?
Non-human intelligence.
Okay, there's proof that non-human intelligence exists. You can interact with it, but it doesn't matter because people believe what they want, and it will continue until an actual craft appears in the skies for all to see, which will happen. Again, I can't put a tiny bit of data in these small word exchanges. And so, you know, it kept going on and on. I guess he left it there. But yeah, these guys went back and forth a bit as well. So yeah, shout out to Stephen for engaging with the community and, you know, entertaining.
Yeah, it was fun at the very least. I think that more UFO people should have on people like him. You know what I mean? Like if you're only having yes men, you're probably getting at the very least diverted away from the truth a little bit.
For sure, man.
And the next person we're having on is going to be someone who's like a believer. There's one person
of the UFO stuff.
Yeah, there's one person that I'm trying to get on in particular, who he's kind of like one of the OGs in the space. He actually followed us after seeing that clip. So I've reached out to him. We'll see if he responds.
Right. Super hype. And then the final thing I wanted to share, or I guess we could also look at the let me look at the previous episode real quick too. In the comment section. See real quick.
It's a great question, Maria.
What'd you say?
How long do you think tokenization will take to be fully implemented? Value-wise, will it always be pegged to fiat or something else?
Well, I mean, that would come down to, do you think that everything in the world will always be pegged to fiat or not?
Or is everything going to zero?
Versus Bitcoin. Yeah, so that would be the real conversation there. So a couple comments on the actual stream with Stephen Greenstreet as well. Let's see. Not
nice.
really
Glad to hear that some of the chat enjoyed him.
Cool. Yeah.
I also heard a lot of people on Twitter, I guess I didn't hear it, I read it, of them saying we were wrong to call him an investigative journalist.
Which is a wild claim.
Yeah. I thought that too. I'm like, why? You can say he's a bad one, but can you say he's not one?
Yeah. It's like, well, I think he's an investigative journalist, but
It should be pegged in Pokemon cards. Yes. I think a lot of people get behind on that.
that is a potential. That's a potential. Welcome in, Brandon Mack. You know, sometimes that's just how it's going to be.
That's the way she goes.
So people were saying someone's sleeping on Ondo. Oh, because I was in the news section. And then Bala said, guy debunks, but when pressed for evidence, proves he is also BSing and doesn't even know what he's talking about. Okay. But really, actually, there weren't too many comments over here. But shout out to y'all who did watch the replay and left a comment. We appreciate you as always. And then the final thing, I just want to talk about this on the show for all the peoples who may not have seen it. So Chamath, his YouTube people and his YouTube strategist, they put out a video a few days ago, and it was the exact direct 1-for-1 title that I had in one of my videos, and I thought that was really cool. He's not the first one to do that, right? So they could have also copied it from someone else who had done this before. But
were you the first person to make one like that?
I mean, I was the first one to do it with this exact title, you know, and I didn't. Inspiration that I got for this one was from, I think, vidIQ to some degree.
Cool.
And I just like made it. Yeah, I made it my own, and then I put 0.01% because I was like, this isn't 1%. This is the 0.01%. That's how I knew when people were copying me too, because I was like,
it's different.
Yeah, you wouldn't say that because I very intentionally made it 0.01%.
It goes harder for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that was super cool to see that, you know, this is happening. And I made a whole like short about it saying like, look, multi-billionaires are just now starting their YouTube channels. Okay. And it's just very showing of like the times that we're in and the value that people see in doing stuff like this, regardless of where you're at.
Yes. And it's been that way for a long time, but they're now finally seeing it. And yeah, it's kind of awesome because we're better at it than they are.
You've got a whole decade on these guys, which will be very helpful.
Totally. It's going to be fun. But yeah, a huge testament to your video and the fact that it was a great title, an awesome video. And yeah, that's part of the game. That's one of the negative things about YouTube is that there is a lot of stealing out there.
Right. Yeah, it's bar for bar. Yeah, that video. It's actually got some really funny comments. That video, y'all, was the first video that I got any hate on. And like, you gotta let me try to like, I won't take a whole bunch of time on this, but like,
do your thing.
My journey, right? This was also at the very beginning of my journey. So I just started posting stuff, right? Nothing crazy. I'm just posting stuff on YouTube. I don't think anybody's gonna watch this crap. And I posted that one. It had no views, but it was my first video that got like 100 views and a hate comment. So, but at that point, nothing really happened. Bang, bang, bang. I'm moving. And then what the 1% don't know about the big, beautiful bill, or what the 1% know about the big, beautiful bill that you don't, blew up. And when that blew up, so did this one.
Makes total sense.
And so I just remember getting my first hate comment, and I pinned it here because I was like, this guy's nuts. And I wanted to pin that. I was like, this is gonna be legendary. And so he said, people really be putting anything in the title for clicks nowadays. The closest this boy has gotten to the top 0.01% is in traffic. Copy paste the same talking points from the other 10,000 identical videos. Brother, put some effort into your work. Mind you, no one was there at that point. So it was like, I was like, thanks for the feedback. I really do appreciate it. Hope you're able to take something away from my experiences.
I'll never understand like who spends the time to do that shit. Right? Like,
yeah.
As you're typing that out, how does no one ever clock like I'm a hater? Like how does that not happen?
Yeah.
The irony is that they probably think that like, honestly, I don't even know what they think because it's just such a ridiculous use of your time.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing that was like came to my head about it was like, I was like, unfortunately, like this is why I'm doing this, right? Because in reality, like people legit don't think that that's possible. Like they're like, what are you talking about? Like there's no way.
one of the worst qualities of like shitty people is that if it wasn't possible for them or they didn't do it, it's not possible for anyone.
Mm.
And people, even some good people do have that thing, but so many people are living in a prison that they create. Right? Like we're all just people, especially with the internet. You can get around anyone in any way. Like that's a limiting belief. And also for someone to speak on your personal experiences.
Yeah,
Like
that's why I was just like, bro, this dude's tripping.
People feel so qualified. It's like you weren't there.
It's like, you think I just sat down and just capped for 10 minutes? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, sounds like a hater. Why? And I was like, this is legendary. I had no viewers when he posted that. Because honestly, it's pretty legendary. That was my first hate comment, and this video gets 100,000 views.
You got to be careful what you assign your energy towards. If you're hating of any kind, you're getting closer to hateful energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why also, like, even people that like hate on people doing wrong things, I'm very confident they attach to some negative things that you don't want to be attached to. Like that's why I try not to like shit on people in this show, because I just don't think that you get of course we all make mistakes, but like when people like their whole brand is just dunking on people's downfalls, even when it's warranted, I still feel like you're getting close to things that you don't want to touch.
Right. Yeah, dude, 100%, man. Gotta guard yourself, and definitely not worth it.
And if you got friends that do that a lot, it can be very helpful for them to like have a mirror put in their face, not literally, but basically being like, yo, you're very negative, you know? Because sometimes people don't even see it. If it becomes their norm and they've been repeating these thoughts and these patterns for years, they don't even realize they're a hater. And then they're like, why? Like everyone sucks. Like this person sucks. This person sucks. This person sucks. I have no friends. Da 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 da. It's like, yeah, because you suck to be around.
Totally fair, man. Totally. But yeah, G.
Jealousy is a big part of it. Yeah, of course, especially for you, Keith, because you got it so fast. People will tear you down just as fast, you know?
There was a Reddit thread about me, and that was awesome. I was like, whoa, there's a freaking Reddit
But that
thread
wasn't
about
bad,
me.
right?
It wasn't necessarily bad. It really wasn't necessarily bad. It wasn't bad at all. It was just like somebody was just confused. You know what I mean? And that's fair, because I was confused too. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They were just like, why is this happening? Like, why does this guy have a bunch of subscribers?
Totally.
Yeah,
Well, I think you earned it. That's great. Maria says, I stay to myself because I tend to offend without realizing it.
Oh.
Well, if you're aware of that, then you may realize it more than you think.
Yeah.
That's a great point here, Brand. Once a boundary gets broken, it becomes the new norm. Yeah. One thing I say all the time is that you teach people how to treat you by what you do and don't tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's so many people that they always have this excuse for like, I can't. And they'll either say because of how much time has passed, because of the relationship that they have with the person, all these like things that aren't real.
Yep.
Mayday? What's Mayday? What?
Mayday.
But yeah, chat, y'all have anything else?
What did you
This was a fun one. Loved the activity within the chat. We appreciate all of you legends giving us some of your time. Means a ton to us, and we appreciate it. They hate us because they ain't us. Yeah, Willem. They're peanut butter and jealous.
I don't think I've ever heard that one. Folks, do us the massive favor. I know you haven't done it because there's 87 people here, and we have not gotten anywhere near that many new subscribers to the highlights channel. It should be the first link in the description.
I believe it is. If not, it's very close.
It's in there. Check us out over here on Memes and Markets Highlights. Give us a subscribe button. It's going to help us out tremendously, and it takes 2 seconds. It's totally free. Free 99.
It's free 99. Yeah, and we already have the watch hours, which is the harder part typically to get, and we already cranked through that in how long have we had that up for? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
It's been like less than 2 weeks, I think. 28th was the first day.
And shout out to producer Asipa in the background, cutting those up, giving you some juicy trailers and making sure that it's specific to 1 or 2 topics of conversation to make it a lot easier for you to consume and learn a lot. So shout out to him back there. Also, if you want to show Asipa some love, the best way to do that is to go subscribe to that channel.
100%. Show Asipa some love. He's cutting it up, making it happen. And what Ben's talking about with the watch hours, by the way, is to get monetized on YouTube, you got to meet 2 different requirements. One of them is 1,000 subscribers, and the other one is 4,000 watch hours. And so we've got the watch hours, 4,000 watch hours in 2 weeks.
And which is very, very fast. But also YouTube is so crazy because when you hear that, you're thinking, okay, there's not ads on the videos then. No, YouTube just keeps all the money.
Right.
It's such bullshit.
So they're robbing us until you guys give us 1,000 subscribers on that channel. So hugely appreciate it. That also comes with sharing the stuff that you're seeing over there. Because once again, this is the more shareable version of the show. So share this with a friend, share this with a father, share this with someone who you think might find any of these topics interesting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Appreciate you in advance for doing that.
Cool. So, yep, there's that. And then other than that, I mean, there's always just the fact that we are on Spotify.
And Apple Podcasts. Don't forget Apple Podcasts.
And Apple Podcasts. Shout out to Jack. Always feel free to come over here, give us a review. So far, everyone seems to like this show.
Purely organic.
Honestly, I'm not surprised. I mean, this is fantastic. So give us a review. Hit that follow button as well. Spotify has emailed us twice saying that people are not following you. What's going on over here? So give us a follow over there on Spotify and give us a review on Apple Podcasts as well.
Appreciate y'all tremendously. Yep. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Hope you all have an amazing day. Anything else from you, Keith?
Anything else from me? No, actually. Just make today the best day of your life, folks.
That's it. We'll be back Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern for another great episode. Until then, be the light that you want to see, and we will see all of you on Thursday. Later, and peace out. I'm trying to play it. Outro, play. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.